Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the day 4 of the Progressive Educators Bootcamp. I'm so excited to welcome you all today. It's a day 4. I hope we have all been getting value from the bootcamp since we started on Monday. So I'm just going to wait for more people to join so that we can commence immediately. Okay. Okay. So I've posted on the group. They will start joining any moment from now, so we can start immediately.
Thanks.
Okay. So please let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know. I can see we have one person here already. Okay, I can see we have one person has joined us. Expect more people to join us. Okay. Hello. Oh yeah. Just wait for more people to join us. I'm going to comments now. If you're watching the replay, you can just fast it forward so that to where we start this session. We'll be starting now. Our speaker is ready and ready to go on with the day 4 of the Progressive Educators Bootcamp. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this from the from day one. Uh, we're glad I hope you have been getting value and you have been empowered so far. Wow. Ah, gosh. Let me know. Can you hear me clearly? You're ready. Can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me clearly. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So that we can get started immediately. Hello, can you hear me? We're starting this meeting as well. Okay, I'm glad you can hear me. Welcome, Mr. Blazes. Good to have you. Good to have you here, sir. Ms. Jacinta, good to have you. Our speaker is ready. You just need to get something set up. Okay, I'm glad you can hear me. Okay, I'm glad you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you. I'm glad. Okay, you can see Mrs. Ijomaya. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Please send to the group. Let them know that we are live. We are live. We're just waiting for more people to join us so that we can bring up our speaker. It's not going to be so good to have all our amazing speakers who have sacrificed a lot to be here, and then just few people are just being part of the session. Make sure you also share the link with every other person that you know that needs to be part of this. This session is going to be very powerful. Our session is going to be the first session is going to be on social emotional learning. Social emotional learning. We're going to be having none other person than Dr. Washidat Sadiq to take us through that. Okay, let me say, okay, thank you, Mr. Abdulaziz. I can see that you have posted on the group. Thank you. Okay, we're starting any moment from now. I'm just waiting a bit for our speaker to come up so that I can start because of time. Okay. Hello, good morning. I'm so sorry for the delay. It's just some network. Hope we are ready for the session now. I'm just going to get right into it. Please confirm if you can hear me clearly. Please let me know if you can hear me clearly. Well, thank you so much for joining us. So please let me know. Okay, you can't hear anything.
Okay, so I think it's coming on and off. I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it better now?
It's better from my end.
Okay, so please, if you are live here, please let me know if you can hear me so that we can get started immediately. Okay, you can now. Great. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the day 4 of the Progressive Educators Bootcamp. Delay is just the network is something else this morning. I was also kicked out of the studio. I just have to change my network. But then I'm glad that we are all here. Thank you so much, Dr. Rashida. Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure. It's really a great privilege to have you here this morning. I know what it takes, how busy your schedule can be. So for you to have accepted this, I know that you're making a lot of sacrifices. So we're just going to get right into it. Just going to start by reading out a profile. Okay. So Dr. Rashidat Sadiq is a language teacher and academic coordinator IC and New Academy, Abuja, Nigeria. She's an English teacher, literacy advocate, reading coach, storyteller, and materials writer who runs a mobile library. She also trains teachers on learner-centered pedagogy with focus on utilizing emotional intelligence to derive learning outcomes. Is a champion of public speaking and has had the opportunity to share our knowledge at various national and international conferences. Please let's welcome Dr. Washida to our midst. She's here today. She's going to be speaking on social emotional learning, nurturing emotional intelligence for student success. Okay, so you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
I can take the floor, ma.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's excellent to be here. I'm happy to finally be able to reach out to you all. Yes, the network can be something else. So we're going to go straight into it. We've kind of gone far into our time, and I know there are other speakers that are supposed to come after me. So we're going to have a look at what SEL, or social emotional learning, is, some of the benefits, the framework that we as teachers can use to look at it and just make sure that we are able to apply it in our classrooms immediately after this training. And we'll be looking at how to incorporate it and some of the sample activities. I do hope we'll have enough time to go into that. All right. So what exactly is social emotional learning? Thank you very much for the warm welcomes. Social emotional learning is the process of developing social and emotional skills. So social having to do with people and emotional having to do with feelings in the context of safe, caring, well-managed, and engaging learning environments. So basically, social emotional learning is bringing emotional intelligence into the classroom. And we know that it's all needed at this point. I'm good. I'm happy that I can see some of the comments. So can you just put in the chats for me why you believe that we need emotional intelligence in our classrooms? I'm going to just give you a few seconds to do that, but I will move on because we have to make good use of the time. Do we know what emotional intelligence is? Why do we need social emotional learning in the classroom? Please put your thoughts in the chats. Emotional intelligence is closely related to social emotional learning. Is that ability to manage your emotions, right? And the ability to interact with other people and their emotions. So that's just basically what it is. The ability to manage your own emotions and the ability to interact with other people, irrespective of what their emotions may be. So you have power over yourself. You can't change their emotions, but you can learn how to relate better with everyone and anyone. So basically, there are two components, like I said: yourself, the person, your feelings, and then social, others, people around you. CASEL, which is a group that is focused on social emotional learning, has come out with 5 major components of social emotional learning. So we have the self-awareness, we have the self-management, we have the social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. And for any of us that have had any interaction with emotional intelligence, we know that these are just what emotional intelligence also entails. But apart from decision making in emotional intelligence, sometimes talk about motivation, but all of that is still related to self-management. All right, so why do we need to teach it? Why do we need to bring that into the class? Thank you. I'm seeing some answers. Kemi says we need it because we are humans and we are social beings. Exactly. Why is it important now more than ever? We've been living as a good society before now. We never had social emotional learning introduced into the classroom. Why is it very important in this 21st century? What are some of those reasons that the learners of today need it more than ever? Thank you for that, Kemi. I'll be expecting some more. So emotions influence how we learn. If we're able to help our learners master their emotions, they are going to learn better. Emotional intelligence is one of the highly sought after skills. We know that the world is becoming technological. So yeah, cognition is still very important. But if you have a first class and you have a bad attitude, nobody can work with you. You can't interact with anybody peacefully. Nobody's going to employ you. Nobody's going to be able to benefit from those cognitive skills that you have. Social emotional learning improves the attitude, behavior, and performance. So it helps everybody. The whole system becomes much better. It also helps us to be more positive. Okay, so we do need social emotional learning. I'll be hoping to get a few more thoughts. We won't have time to read about this, but I want you to step back in time and think about these 3 scenarios. And I'm going to try to relate some of my own stories. I love telling stories of what comes to my mind when I think of these. So the first one says, think of a discouraging teacher you had when growing up. Write one thing that teacher did. So if you do have a pen or paper, you can write it down. If you want to put it in the chats, you're fine to do that. But like I said, because of time and because of the way we are interacting here, we may not be able to look at all of those within this context. But it's good that we step back, because as teachers, we need to work on ourselves first. We need to try to understand how the learners are feeling. You cannot give what you don't have. How emotionally intelligent are you? And these exercises are just there to help us, to be able to be more appreciative and to enter into our own social emotional learning. Thank you. My good friend, Madam Ijoma, says we need emotional intelligence. Sorry, I'm not seeing this very well, because we are dealing with children from different backgrounds. Exactly, excellent. We are dealing with children from different backgrounds that will exhibit various behaviors. So we need to be able to teach them how to interact with each other, how to manage their own behaviors. Adebayo Folashade, thank you, says, because we have different temperaments. Yes, exactly. So we can keep them coming, and I'll just tell you of my experience. I was in JS1 a long, long time ago, and I had an English teacher who did something to me that really, really discouraged me. I loved English language. And if you know me, you know that I like talking. And you know that when I'm passionate, I kind of talk too fast. I was always eager to answer a question. But a lot of the times, teacher could not hear what I was saying. And what she did to me was she just yelled at me and said, "What are you saying? You're talking through your nose. We can't hear anything you're saying," And I was just taken aback, like, why couldn't she hear? I didn't understand what she meant. And that embarrassed me in front of the entire class, and my classmates were laughing at me. Some were calling me Americana, all of that. And that just made me go into my shell. And I just stopped really participating in her classroom. Now, lucky for me, I had good experiences before I got to her class. And after her class, I was able to actually adapt better. I got to understand what she was saying. I started speaking slower. I started making myself heard better. But if I wasn't fortunate enough to have people that were really, supporting me maybe at home or gave me more opportunities, I would never be an English teacher today. I would always think of that English teacher that shut me up. But what that does for me as an experience, it makes me understand how the learners would feel. So I try to be very, very careful when I am correcting the learners. There's a good way to give feedback. I don't want to call it criticism, because people say constructive criticism, but it shouldn't be criticism. It should be feedback. Oh, I'm sure you have something good to say, but I can't hear you. Can you say it again? Can you say it slower? That would have been better for me and my self-esteem. The second one says, think of an encouraging teacher you had. Write one encouraging thing that teacher did. Now, the encouraging teacher that comes to my mind was someone in my GS2. Now I moved to a different school. I was in a boarding house, and he was my class teacher. I remember his name, Mr. Ajayi. He was also our agric teacher, and my parents kind of like came to see him, gave him my pocket money, and just said, oh, she's new here. And he really took time to look at all of us as students. And what he did was he didn't come so close to me. We're not like tight friends, but he noticed that the pocket money that my parents gave me was not really enough. I didn't really think about it. I had provisions, and I just took what they gave me, and I spent, sparingly. But the next visiting day when my parents came, he came to say hi, and he told them, oh, Alaji, please, you need to give her a little more money. And he gave them a better suggestion of how much was the average for some of the students in our schools. And that really touched me, because I never complained to him that I was hungry, but he must have seen maybe that when the others were going to buy things at the tuck shop, I never did. So this is somebody that was aware of me as a student. Next point. Can you think of a student of yours that has needs? What are those needs? How do you know those needs? Are you like Mr. Ajayi that was able to identify my need? Or what exactly is happening? Okay, so I see that our session is really running out of time, so I'm going to skip some of the things that I wanted to say. There are a lot of benefits of social emotional learning. We've looked at a few of them, but it does lead to reduced emotional stress for the teacher and the learner, improved academic achievement. Yeah, thank you, our addiction coach, for adding this to it. Knowing how to act is crucial in this day and age. For the school also, if you're able to introduce social emotional learning, convince your school management, it helps the school as a whole. But if you cannot bring it to the entire school, start in your own classroom to try to help them to manage, to be more self-aware, which is the most and first important thing, then to be able to manage themselves, to know their strengths, to know their weaknesses, to know what they need to improve upon, to have a good mindset. And then you also move on to teaching them how to interact with each other, how to have that social awareness of people coming from different backgrounds. They have to be able to deal with different people. They shouldn't look at it, they shouldn't lean into stereotypes. They shouldn't be biased. So the framework for SEL has three main sides: the cognitive, the social, and the emotional. And the middle, where we're able to get all of them together, is where we want the children to be. And I'm going to just point out some of the goals that we want to achieve with each of these domains, so that even if we don't get to the place of the activities, you're always thinking that, okay, what can I do to help the children achieve these goals? Thank you, Abdulaziz Issa. It's not enough to teach and learn. We also need to do it happily and interestingly. That really helps the children to also learn. If you're happy, if you're excited, they will tap from that energy. But if you're boring, if you're always too serious, they're going to be bored. Okay. Cognitive domain, we have to help the children to be able to set goals through our social emotional learning tasks. We have to help them with planning and organization. So what can you do to help your children achieve these? You have to help them to improve their memory and attention. We talked about strengths and weaknesses. Help your learners realize the best time for them to learn. When do they learn better? Help them to transition from one class to another, from one subject to another, from one place to another. All of that. I'm not sure if this is going to cut off after 30 minutes. So we have 30 more seconds. Mr. Abdulatif Adedeji, can you hear me? Okay, he will be extending the session by 10 minutes. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Sorry for that delay and change in plans. Thank you for that. All right. So the next thing we need to focus on is the emotional domain. What are you doing in your classroom, or what can you do in your classroom to help learners express and identify emotions? Part of one big problem that we have, both as adults and our learners have, is that they find it difficult to actually identify their emotions. Sometimes we think we're sad, but we're not sad. We're frustrated. Sometimes we think we're angry, but we're not angry. We're embarrassed. I give an example of someone that trips. And after tripping, you start to snap at everybody around you, and people think, oh, she's angry. No, it's not really the anger. It's the embarrassment of tripping in front of your students. And instead of, just being vulnerable, you start telling them, what are you looking at? Is that the book I stood right? Those kind of things. What are we doing to help our learners regulate their behavior? What are we doing to help them to be able to appreciate other people's perspectives? You're from the North and from the South. We do different things, but how can I help you to appreciate what is done in my clime, to understand and share with me? These are things that we need to think about as teachers. This is what social emotional learning entails. And the third domain, the social domain. What can you do to help your learners understand social cues? What do you do to help them know that they need to take turns? So something as simple as co-creating your classroom rules can help with the social cues. Something as easy as teaching them the 4 magic words or 3 magic words, please, excuse me, thank you. Those are things that help them understand social cues. So some of these things we're already doing it in our classroom, but now we have to be more deliberate. We have to be more intentional. What can you do to help your learners know how to network, to make friends? If they go for a competition outside your school, do they stay just within the circle of people that they came from the same school with? Or do you encourage them to go out and make new friends? Do you teach them how to do this? Because some people actually want to make new friends, but they don't know what to say. They don't know how to do it. They're afraid of being rejected. So these are things we need to think of ways to incorporate in our classroom. And I'm telling us this because, I might share some activities with you, but they may not work well. Yeah, thank you. You need to give feedback that is more constructive and in a good way, with a recommendation first and then a commendation. How do we help them to resolve conflicts? Because there will always be conflict, no matter where you go in life. Even as teachers, we have conflict sometimes with the parents, sometimes with the learners, sometimes with our managers in school. There will always be conflict in class, sometimes about who wants to sit in front, sometimes about who wants to be at the front of the line. That's for the younger learners. For the older learners, there will be conflict around, he spoke to me, he didn't speak to me, he didn't allow me to play with him, or he's ignoring me, or he's feeling himself. We have up to those in SS3 in university, we have conflict. Who took my pen? Whatever, there will be conflict. How do we teach them to cooperate? Because that's a big skill. We find a lot of us in this new generation, Gen Alpha, are so used to being on their own, so used to being with their laptops. Even those of us that are older, we're used to being on social media. We are not used to interacting with others. So we go to the workplace and it's a problem to cooperate with members of our team. Team building is a problem. So how do we teach them these right from a young age? All of these are part of social emotional learning. So there are 3 main ways, of incorporating social emotional learning into the schools or into your classroom. The first one is that you can actually have a period called social emotional learning period. That's a possibility. Some schools do that, and they take 30 minutes a week, 1 hour a week, to explicitly teach skills that will help learners understand their strengths, understand their weaknesses, know how to manage themselves, have empathy for those around them, manage relationships, negotiate and cooperate with others. This can be done. Another thing that can be done is we already have a social studies curriculum. We can infuse this into our social studies lesson. So maybe if we have an 8-week scheme of work, we can decide that 2 weeks from every term is going to be devoted to social emotional learning. That's an option. Another thing you can do is to infuse social emotional learning into every subject that you teach. So yes, even in maths, you can infuse social emotional learning. You're talking about fractions. While you're talking about fractions, you introduce the importance of sharing. Give them a problem about sharing a pie, and then tell them that, okay, one person out of all of us in the class decided to take 2/8 instead of 1/8. What's going to happen? That means maybe one person will not get. That person that doesn't get, how will they feel? What can be done by the teacher? What can be done by the members of the other group to make sure that nobody is left out? That's mathematics. And no matter how high you go, physics, chemistry, you can introduce the components of social emotional learning into your curriculum. You just have to be more particular. You're talking about materials. Talk about, okay, this material, someone was in a lab and a chemical burns the person. How would the person feel? What can we do? What could have been done to prevent this? Lab safety is a part of chemistry. But in that lab safety, you dig deeper into allowing the children to feel empathy, into allowing the children to solve social problems. And then you can have individual classroom practices that will help you promote social emotional learning. You can use stories, you can use role play. So we're going to look at some of them in the next 5 minutes that I have. So the first one is more on self-awareness. Like I said, sometimes we don't really know what those feelings are. So let's look at having them identify their feelings. When you come in the morning, ask everybody to tell you how they feel or to write it on a piece of paper. It depends on your time. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes, depending on the size of your class. If it's a large class, they just hand out slips of paper, let them write their feelings and collect it. The next class, when you come, you can talk about it, or after the class, if there's time, you can talk about it. And here I'm just showing that, yeah, we can say we're angry, but it might be jealousy. It might be hate. It might be hurt that's making us show. It's not just anger is just a blanket word, but we need to identify exactly what those feelings are. We need to be able to do that. And we need to be able to help our learners to do that. We can also have them, raise their fingers to show you how they feel at the beginning or in the middle of the class. Maybe they're doing a class task and you notice that, okay, some of them are getting it, some of them are not. Ask them, okay, if you're doing well, show me one finger. If you think you need help or if you're getting upset, show me 5 fingers. And when they show you the fingers, then you go on, okay, what do you do when you get upset? Will you go and take a drink of water? Will you go for a walk? Will you take some deep breaths? So you are teaching them how to manage those emotions at the same time as making them more aware of those emotions. Mindset is also a big part of social emotional learning. Fixed mindset, growth mindset. Help them develop a positive mindset also with affirmations. Tell them they should repeat it to themselves. I am worthy. And if you say it long enough, you will get to believe it. And you also get to act it out. Self-management, something as simple as having them brainstorm actions they will take for particular feelings. You can give them a hint. Okay, what are some of the actions you will take if you are feeling embarrassed? The first one is laugh it off. So for me, if I trip, I just say, don't mind me, I'm getting old, I laugh at myself. Or if it's something that they're being mean to me, I just walk off. So there are different things. So you ask them, what can you do? In some situations, I tell them, I don't like it. Please stop laughing at me. So you teach them the different things they can do in different scenarios with different feelings so that they can manage their emotions. The next one is an activity on social awareness. It's called the empathy game. So you just give them different scenarios and you get them to talk about how that person might be feeling. How would your friend feel if they got a new phone? Oh, they'd probably be happy, probably excited. How would your friend feel if they got bullied? They'd be sad, they'd be unhappy. They get different words and then you can extend it. What can you do to help that friend? What would you say to that friend? Oh, I would congratulate the friend. I would say sorry to the friend. Different things like that. Just different scenarios and activities that can help you and your learners become more socially aware. The last one, I believe, is an activity on relationship skills. So this is also like a role play. You ask them to act out. You bring 3 of them in front of the class and you say, okay, this is the scenario. I have only 1 pack of crayons and all 3 of you want to use it. And then there's an argument. Act what would happen. And you can decide to even allot roles. Okay, you are going to be the one that will show emotional intelligence in this situation. You are going to be the one that is the most annoyed. You are going to be this. And they start acting. That children, everybody loves acting. Like, no, yes, it's my turn. And then they create a way to resolve the situation. They're able to negotiate. Okay, let me take the colors I want, or let me allow you to use it first, or whatever. So I have rushed through my 40 minutes. I do appreciate having this opportunity. And I hope we can interact more. I normally give this training and a similar training, not exactly this one, in 3 hours. Then we have more time for practical activities, and it's always good fun. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, thank you so much. Please just appear as speaker. Do anybody have any question? Because I know and I know that it's just because of our time. Even the 30 minutes that was allocated that is allocated to every teacher in the first place is no every speaker rather is not really enough to cover what they're going to be talking about. But then combine that with the network issue that we had this morning. So, but then I hope you have been able to learn one or two things, especially about dealing with emotions, teaching our learners to deal with their emotion. So this is really a very, very important topic right now because a lot of things are really happening and learners, the way we deal with a lot, they also deal with theirs too. So we need to empower them with those skills and it has to start with us. So thank you so much, Miss Dr. Rashida. Thank you so much for
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you so much for taking out your time to share with us. I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much, ma.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma. Yeah. So please let's appreciate our speaker. Let's appreciate our speaker. If you are here, please say something. How is the session for you? Or before we go right into the next session. Oh,
Thank you, Madam Rose. It's nice to be here. Amen. Thank you, Madam. Okay. I appreciate your comments.
okay. Thank you so much. And we're going to be moving on to the next session, ma. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here, ma.
you.
I really appreciate, ma. Thank you, ma. Wow. Okay, so we're moving on to the next session immediately, and we're going to be having Uh, we're going to be having Mr. Victorious Victor, and he's going to be talking about a very, very important topic. Yes, navigating change. Navigating change because we're currently in the time where things are changing very fast. A lot of things are changing, and how do we navigate change as a teacher? How do you make sure that you stay on top of your game? How do you ensure that you stay relevant in the education industry? So it's very, very important that we pay attention to this, and that's why we have what is it called? Thank you for all your feedback. I said so. I'm going to be having Mr. Victorious Victor speak to us about this today, and I'm going to share. I'm just going to read out his profile now. So please just give me a moment. So Mr. Victorious Victor. Okay, good. So Mr. Victorious Victor currently serves as a team lead at the Victorious Consult, whose mission is to inspire and empower individuals through education. With over 6 years of experience in the field, he has honed his skills in various educational roles, making a positive impact on the lives of his students and clients. In the rapidly evolving world of education, staying ahead is crucial. As an educational consultant, he guides individuals, parents, and educational institutions in making informed decisions. He offers insight into the latest teaching methodologies, technology integration, and effective learning strategies. His goal is to help clients create a nurturing and effective learning environment. As a dedicated home and online STEM tutor, he provides personalized and effective learning experiences, whether it is academic subjects, exam preparation, or skill development. He's committed to fostering a love for progressive curricula that align with educational goals and cater to diverse learners, whether it is K-12, higher education, or professional training. Beyond the classroom, it brings energy and professionalism to the corporate world as an MC, whether it's hosting corporate events, conferences, or team building activities. He ensures a seamless and engaging experience. Also, as a passionate podcaster, he dives into topics that matter from education and technology, personal development, and beyond. His podcast is a platform for insightful discussions, expert interviews, thought-provoking content. He believes in the power of storytelling and conversation to inspire, educate, and entertain. and his podcast reflects that philosophy. So please let's make welcome Mr. Victorious Victor. Thank you so much for accepting to do this. Thank you so much uh, for the privilege to have you as one of our speakers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I don't take it for granted, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
You
thank you
can take
so
it
much,
over, sir.
Mr. Abdelatif. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, and I hope the those that are watching us can also hear me.
Yes, please let me know. Can you hear our speaker? If you can hear our speaker, please let's please drop a comment in the comment section. Let's know you can hear him so you can go on because of our time.
Have they confirmed that because I can't see the chat? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, they have confirmed that. You can go on, sir.
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching from. Because I believe this
Yes, I can.
boot camp, this boot camp is not just an African thing; it's a global boot camp. So from wherever you're watching us from, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for having me, Mr. Abdulatif, and also thank you for making this platform available for everyone. And for teachers that are joining in, also thank you so much for joining in. You being here, or for those watching the replay later, shows how intentional and how deliberate you are about your profession. So thank you for doing this with us together. Without wasting more time, because our time is fast spent, I'll be diving into the topic for today. And I've been asked to speak on resilience. Resilience, navigating change, which has to do with building resilience in times of educational transformation. Building resilience in times of educational transformation. Okay, thank you, Balkis, for confirming that. Yeah, talking about resilience, I love the fact that I've had a couple of speakers before now, from day one up to this moment. I want to appreciate all those that have spoken. All points, all topics are valid, and they've done justice to that. That's nice. If you look at the topics that we've treated before, even the one before me, the one Dr. Rashidat Sadiq did, she did justice to that. I so much love that presentation. You see that most of these things revolves around our learners. Most of these things revolve around the tools we use. Most of these things revolves around people. Now, these aspects, this topic I'm about to talk about, revolves around you, the enigma called you. Most of the time, we focus more on our tools, our attentions are on the student. How can I satisfy my student? How can I give my student the best? How can I make my students make me know that yes, I'm competent, I am confident? But we don't focus on ourselves. We let us go down the drain before we start to say yes, it calls for attention. That's why resilience is key. Let me start with this story. There was this story I saw online some weeks back. Yeah, it's a story of the eagles. I don't know if I'm very sure you all know you all know about the eagles. They are wonderful creatures. They are known for their mental strength. They are known for their good vision and all that. I don't want to bore you with all those facts. But this story, I'm going somewhere with this story in the sense that the eagles, another thing about them is that they tend to live for a longer period of time. In the sense that they can live for at low as 35 years, apart from other birds. Now, when they begin to grow, when they begin to age, one thing about the eagles is that they are big, which is one of the parts which is used for survival, tends to go bend and becomes blunt, in the sense that it will be difficult for them to feed. They are predators and they feed on prey. So it will be difficult for them to feed. Also, their claws, that is their fingers, also begins to grow blunt. Same thing with their feathers, begin to grow thick. So it will be difficult for them to survive as they age. Now, they either have two options as they grow old: is either they die or they adapt to this painful change. They go through a painful change. So if they are not choosing death, if they still want to live, they go through a painful change. And what's the painful change? The painful change is that they have to go to a mountain. There's a mountain, or to the rooftop, sharpen their beak with using the mountain top or using the rock. And when they do that, it's difficult for them to do that because they're already aging. Once they do that, once their beak is sharp and all that, they are able to use the beak to remove the claws that are already burnt, and a new one emerge. Same thing with the beak. When they use this beak to scratch the mountain, a new beak also emerge. They use that same beak to remove their feathers, the thick feathers. A new feather or new feathers emerge. Now, but this will not happen if they don't go through this painful change, if they are not mentally strong. Now, for a new you to emerge in retrospect, now, for a new you to emerge, for you to see how resilient you are, you need to go through some painful changes. As a teacher, you need to understand that yes, there will be obstacles, there will be challenges, there will be situations in which we need to experience change. But if you are not ready to go through this change, if you are not ready to go through all these things, you are not resilient, and that means you are not ready for the global stage. Now, what is resilience? I haven't known introduce that from the story. What is resilience? Please, the next slide. Resilience is the ability to withstand, to address, to adapt and adjust to obstacles, and to bounce back. One thing I love about resilience in the sense that one thing about life is that there are unpredictable times. Uncertainties is common. That's the reason why God is above us. There are times in which we will not be able to predict what will happen next. If we know what's going to happen tomorrow, we will not be here. If we know what's going to happen to us next tomorrow, definitely we don't need God. But that's where God is above us. So your ability to go through changes, to experience obstacles, and for you to bounce back from these obstacles is a skill which is essential in this 21st century. If you remember one of the 21st century skills, we have communication skill, digital literacy, creativity, and innovation. Resilience is also part of it. Ability to adapt to change. Now, another definition that I see to resilience is not just adapting to change, ability to also react, ability to also respond and recover from challenges. Now, there are different things that we're experiencing now as teachers in the education sector. Let me to go to the recent one before I move to the most recent one. It all started, remember, during the COVID year, 2020, 2021. We all saw what happened, where we all had to be at home, classes were done online, everything was on a standstill, the whole world was on a standstill, right? Now, different things happened during that period. But there were two kinds of people during that time. Two kinds of people during COVID. Even post-COVID, after COVID, we had to adjust, we had to adapt to different things, different transformation in the education sector. Now, the way we had those that COVID, even post-COVID, happened to them. Those are those people that could not adapt to the change. That was when we lost so many people that could not cope with the teaching. Within the education sector, many people had to move to another sector because they could not cope. Because COVID happened to them. Post-COVID also happened to them. And we also have those that COVID happened for them. Now, these people, they were resilient in the sense that they saw what happened and they saw opportunities, they saw possibilities in this change. They know that yes, now the world is on a standstill. We need to be at home. We need to conduct lessons online. We need to deliver all these things online. Things has to be virtual now. And they had to develop means. They had to divide means in which they survive. And not just survive, they had to thrive. And that's what we're having now. If you are here watching this now, you're part of the resilient teachers. Because if you are not resilient, you will not be here in the first instance. Now, looking at next slide, please. Looking at what resilience is all about. Different things about resilience. Resilience can also be known as coping, ability to cope, adaptability to adapt to situations. And this one keyword, I'm going to talk about it towards the end, which is anti-fragility. Anti-fragility, I'm sure for those hearing this word for the first time, is an ability for you not just to, for you not just to, for you not just to, thank you, I saw that, for you not just to be resilient, but for you to thrive in situations. Because a lot of people are just surviving. Most people now are just surviving. I was going through someone's post yesterday on WhatsApp. The person said nowadays, just on a lighter note, he said nowadays we don't even know what happened. That in the sense that you fry 5 eggs and it's as if it's 2 eggs that you fried. He said, "What's happening to these chicks? What's happening to these birds?" And because I'm a science teacher, a Greek teacher for in particular, I know what it entails in the sense that most farmers now, what they are doing, they are not in the business for survival. They are not in the business for profit. They are in the business just to survive. Some of them are even tired of the profession. They are even tired of the work. Some of them even want to leave. Now, but what is keeping them is just that they just want to survive. And that is what some people are doing now. That is what some people are doing. They just want to survive. Let me just get this peanut. Let me just collect my salary. Let me just make this income and just leave. They are not even after impact. They're not even after influence. But it's more than that. You being a resilient teacher, you're not saying, yes, I just want to survive, I just want to collect money. I want to do this for income, fine, which should be the last thing, but I'm doing this for impact and I'm doing this for influence. Because these are the three major things every profession or every work should have: your influence, your impact, your income. If you are not doing these three things, you are not fulfilling purpose. So that's what being resilient is all about. Now, going to the next slide. Let's look at different types of resilience. Now, resilience occurs in different forms. They occur in different dimensions. I will not bore you through all those stories because Dr. Rashida Sadiq has done justice to one of them, which is emotional um, resilience under emotional intelligence. Also, some of our previous speakers also dive on that. So, looking at the types of resilience, we have the physical resilience, which has to do with how are you able to adapt to physical changes when you go through physical stress, when you go through physical trauma. How are you able to adapt to these changes? Another thing is mental resilience. Now, talking about mental resilience has to do with how you are being flexible with your decisions. You have different point of views. You are able to make options, plan B for every situation. That has to do with your mental resilience. Then emotional resilience has to do with your emotions, how you are able to relate with people, how you are going to deal with your emotions when you are stressed. How do you handle stress? Which is kind of synonymous to emotional intelligence. And the last one has to do with the social resilience. Social resilience has to do with your relationship with people now. How do you relate with people? It's a collective effort now. How do you relate or how do you react? How do you respond to economic hardship? Like what is going on in the country at the moment, different things, hike in prices of goods and commodities. How are you responding to this as a teacher? How are you not bringing all these things to your classroom? Because most of the times, when you're in class, if you are not careful, if you are not resilient, you tend to bring some of these things to your classroom, which affect you. And if you have students that are very sensitive and very observant, they will tell you. I have a student in my class who will tell me oh, you're looking good today, you're looking happy today. I also have another one that will tell me, oh, what happened, Mr. Victor? You're not looking good today. Is anything a problem? Now, when your students tend to tell you that often, when you get that response more often, you need to work on your resilience. You need to know One of the speakers said that previously, you need to know when it's work. I have to be professional about it. And you also need to know when it's home. I also, yes, I'm at home. So you able to distinguish between your work and your home makes you a resilient teacher. Next slide, please. Now, which brings me to how do I build resilience? How do I build resilience as a teacher? Very key. We've talked about how the different ways in which resilience is key as teachers to us. Now, how do I build it? Now, one thing I want us to know is that resilience is not it's not innate. It is built. It can be cultivated. Now, when God created us, I'm a science teacher, just like I said earlier, and one of the things we learn in science, and for those of you that are in the science field, we did that in our elementary science, is looking at the characteristics of living things. And one of the characteristics of living things is sensitivity, which is related to its resilience. Sensitivity has to do with you being sensitive to your environment, reacting and responding to your environment. Now, sensitivity is synonymous to resilience, just like I said, but resilience is more than that. Now, everybody is sensitive. We are all sensitive as humans. We are creatures of emotions. We're sensitive to change around us, be it good or bad. Now, but this resilience is relative in the sense that is in levels. Some people are more resilient than others. For example, you cannot compare how resilient A is to how resilient B is, which depends on the foundation. So now, if you are the type that you still struggle with being resilient, how can you build resilience? How can you be resilient as a teacher? Number one is knowing yourself. Knowing yourself is very key. Now, I know you must have heard this several times. Knowing yourself, understanding yourself. Yeah, you've heard it several times. I'm still saying it again. You need to know yourself. Most teachers don't know what who they are. Most teachers don't even know why they are even doing teaching, why they are teaching. Most teachers are just in this just because of the salary. And I've said it before, if you are in for the income, it's better you leave. That may sound harsh, but it's better you leave. The 21st century teachers that I'm seeing now that we have here, they are more than just doing it for income alone. You need to start thinking of impact. You need to start thinking of influence. Now, if you don't know yourself, you won't be able to make impact. You won't be able to even have any influence on even not just your students, but at the world at large. So you need to know yourself. You need to know your why. Why am I in this profession? Is it just for the money? If it's for the money, fine. Let me do it for a short period of time and leave. But if you are doing it on a long term, which I know most teachers are doing it for that, then you need to sit down, reflect, and say, yes, why am I still here? Because until you know your why, you may not know how to navigate the change. So knowing your why helps you to know your how to navigate change when push comes to shove. You can't know a true or a strong sailor until storms come. That's where you will know how strong a sailor is. So when you know yourself, when you understand who you are, your personality, very key. Some teachers don't even know their personality. You don't know your temperament. You need to know this because that will determine the kind of things you do. That will determine the kind of things that interest you. That will determine the kind of people you even relate with. So having the understanding of yourself, knowing your why, helps you to understand how to navigate in difficult times. Now, there is this tool. I don't know if for those that are not aware, there is this tool that helps to. I've done that before. It helped me. That helps you to navigate, to know your personality. You can check it out online. 16personalities.com. There are different tools, but this one is very effective. 16 personalities.com. You can help me put that on the screen for those that need that. It helps you to know your personality. It helps you to evaluate, to analyze yourself. So having the understanding of yourself, your personality, the things that interest you, the things that you thank you, Mr. Abdulatif, the things that you like, the things that you do that you want, will help you to build resilience. Now, having thank you, self-awareness, very key. Yes, Dr. Rashidat also made mention of that. Self-awareness. Self-awareness helps you to regulate yourself. It helps you to be disciplined. Thank you, teaching with AI. I appreciate that. The next point, having gone through that, after you've gone through self-awareness, self meditation, because you need to meditate to do that. You need to journal to do all that. The next point, next slide, please. After you know yourself, is that you need to identify your triggers. Identify your triggers. Now, triggers has to do with what are those things that can make you stressed? What are those things that can, make you get hungry? What are those things? Oh, thank you for, okay, I have 5 minutes. I'll quickly rush through this. What are those things that can make you, get emotional, that can affect your resiliency? Identify them. Now, let's take me back to the first point. If you don't know yourself, if you don't know your personality, if you don't know your temperament, we have four types of temperament. We have sanguine, we have the melancholy, we have the choleric, and we have the, I can't remember the fourth one. Someone that can help me put that if you know that, the melancholy, the sanguine, the choleric. I can't lay my hands on the fourth one now. But if you don't know your temperament, it will be difficult for you to identify your triggers so that you will know how to set boundaries. You will know when you are getting off the lead. So have a knowledge of your triggers. Thank you very much. Teaching with AIS, phlegmatic. So those are that's the fourth one, the choleric, the phlegmatic, the melancholy, and the sanguine. You need to understand that. So having known all that, it will help you to do what? To identify your triggers and be able to deal with it when it comes. Going to the third point, next slide, please, is self-care. Self-care. Yeah, you need to take care of yourself. As teachers, most of the time, what we do is our students, our tools, our this, our that. We protect all these things, but we don't take care of ourselves. You need to take care of yourself. You need to get adequate rest. Very key. You need to know when to control your stress, good sleep, and all that. Everything is key when it comes to self-care. So how do you take care of yourself? Now, self-care is more than you just sleeping, getting rest, getting fitness and all that. Also, the kind of food you eat. Most of the teachers most of us don't know that the kind of food we eat affect us. It even determines the way we react, the way we respond to things. In the sense that the food you eat determines the kind of things you do. Now, so what are some of the health tips? I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician, but some of the health tips is avoid sugar, avoid sugar, avoid processed food, reduce processed food. These are the things that help you. You may be wondering how does food has to do with resilience? It's key. When it comes to the mind, it is connected to every part of you, your soul, your body, your spirit. So health is key when it comes to building resilience. The kind of food you eat, reduce processed foods, foods like canned foods, canned drinks, fuzzy drinks, reduce them. It helps you to build resilience. It helps your emotions. So I can't overemphasize this. Self-care is key. Talking about when it comes to building resilience. The fourth one, next slide, please, has to do with narrow your focus. Now, focus on what is working for you. So many times, there are some things that are not working. Don't focus on them. There's a way our mind works. There's this thing. called negativity bias. Negativity bias has to do with there's a way our brain is on that default setting. Our brain is trained to see only the negative. That's why when things are not working, you tend to capitalize on that. That's why when things are not going the way it should go, you tend to capitalize on that. But when things are working, you are not even grateful. Gratitude becomes difficult. You don't even see it. We only tend to focus on the things that are not working. So now you need to retrain yourself. It has to do with intentionality and being deliberate. You need to retrain your brain in a way that instead of seeing negative in situation, you see what? You see positive. You see positivity. Instead of being pessimistic about situations, you are being optimistic about things. So focus on the things that are working. And most importantly, when you focus on the things that are working, also identify the roles you play in these things. It helps to build your self-confidence. It helps to make you resilient in what you're doing. So focus on those things that are working, identify it, build on it. That will help you to, bridge on your weak point and identify the roles you play in these things. It helps you to become resilient and it helps you to boost your confidence, which is key. Now, the fifth point, where I'm going to stop, next slide, please, has to do with your social capital. Build your social capital, which has to do with your relationship. Now, relationship is key. Now, there's a saying that iron sharpened iron, in the sense that when you're in the midst of resilient people, you become resilient over time. Just like if you work with people that are funny, or if you're in the midst of people that are funny, over time you begin to sound funny. Yes. If you're in the midst of people that they are always complaining about situation, oh, this country is messed up, and I can't, I'm even tired of this profession, teaching is not for me. This is over time you begin to work in that manner. The good book says, evil communication corrupts good manner. In the sense, it does not say good communication rubs off on good. So when you are in the midst of people that are not resilient, it begins to rub off on you. It affects you. So that's why you need to work on you building a relationship whereby you will have resilient people in your circle. And when you have resilient people, it helps you in every situation. It helps you on your days when you're on your low. It helps you. When things are not going the way you are, these people lift you. And there are ways in which you can build resilient people, not just in your workplace. Thank God for the social media now. You build resiliency even online. There are communities like what we are doing now, where you have people that will help in building your resiliency. So having or building or strengthening your social capital is key when you're talking about building resilience. Now, that's the last slide. In conclusion, just like I said, I talked about anti-fragility. Resilience is key. It's about survival. But don't just survive. You are not meant to survive. You are meant to thrive. That's why you need to develop anti-fragile spirit. So don't just be a resilient teacher. Resiliency is good. Don't just be a resilient teacher. Be an anti-fragile teacher. I usually say this: your teachers that taught you, the school you went to, may not be the best of schools, may not be the best of teachers, but you can be the best teacher your students wish they had. Be the best teacher, or be the teacher you wish you had. I pray God will
Hello,
help us
sir.
in Jesus' name.
Can you
Thank
hear
you
me? I'm so
for
sorry.
having me.
I had issue with my network. Hello, sir. Oh, yeah. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me, sir? Okay, sorry, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, I had some issue, so I was off the session. I'm just able to connect back.
Oh, so sorry about that.
Have you wanted off the session?
Yes, yeah, I just rounded up now. Just like I said, please take you to the last slide.
Wow,
That's the
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, just now. Okay. Slide. Do you mean this particular slide? Hello? Can you hear me? Gosh. Hello, sir. I can hear you. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. I can see someone has so much value.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can now. Is this the slide you're talking about?
Yes.
I mean, is it the slide you're talking about? Okay.
Yes, that's the last slide. I said I've talked about this just to for maybe for those that could not hear me because of the network. I said sustainability is about survival, but the goal of resilience is to thrive. So as teachers, basically, our goal is to thrive. We are not just in this profession to survive. We are here to thrive, and that can only happen through resilience. So let's be intentional about it and let's be deliberate about it. It's something that it's a skill that needs to be cultivated, that needs to be built, and that can be done when you're intentional about it. Thank you. I don't know if there's any question or if there's anything.
Okay, thank you so very much,
I
sir. I
love
really
take
appreciate
I love
everything
taking
you do.
questions.
Okay, do you have anyone that have questions? We need to run now because of our time. But then let's see. But please, let's appreciate our
Okay.
speaker. He has really done fantastic job. And if you miss this session or you just join, make sure you watch the replay, both the first session and second session. They have actually have some kind of connection and they work in line with each other. Yeah, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. Thank you so much for being part of. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you so much for everything. Okay, so we just move right into the next session now. Speaker two is
All right. Thank
ready.
you so much.
Thank you. But then if you have a question, we can still like take one question before we go ahead. So if you have any question, you can please drop it.
Thank you so much, Unisa Montayo. Thank you so much, emotional intelligence teacher. I would love to connect with every one of
Okay,
you.
thank you, sir.
That's how we build community. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Abdulatif, for making this happen. I appreciate.
Yes, you can share. Sure. Okay, I can say thank you. So thank you so much now. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. Thank you. And we have to let you go now. So we're going to be having our next speaker now. Thank you. Yes. You're welcome, Miss River. So we're
Thank
going to
you,
be
sir.
having a session on the future of work. Thank you. You're welcome. So just going to start by reading our profile so that we can get to know who's going to be speaking to us. So Miss River is an amazing lady. In fact, the people I want to read today is just like 1% of what she does. She do a lot of things, a whole lot of she does a lot of things. But then at least today we're going to be focusing on the future of work. And why is this very important? This is very important because we're currently in a world that's constantly changing and is
Yeah.
demanding a lot from us that different from what we know before. And because of that, we need to like know how to adequately prepare our students for that future of work because things are really changing, whether you agree to it or not, whether you want to believe it or not. Things are changing, things are not the same. Okay. And that's why we're going to be having our speaker on board to speak to us on the future of work.
Okay. Okay. I think Abdulatif is having a bit of network glitch on his end. So please just let me know if you can see and hear me very clearly. Please just use the chat box. Let me know if you can see me, if you can hear me clearly. Okay, I'd really appreciate that feedback before we go on. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Okay, I think he's back.
Okay, can you all hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Please. Okay, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Yes, I can. I can.
Yes, it's my network. So I'm just going to read out
Happens.
a profile, a short profile of her. Can you hear me? Okay. Also,
Yes,
Miss Oliver
I
Brown
can
is a
hear you.
teacher and a teen coach committed to developing the average African child into problem solvers and nation builder while preparing them for the future of work. She does this through advocacy for quality education, career coaching, and teacher training. So thank you so much, Ma. We are so good to have you here. So
Why the glitch? Okay. Please confirm that you can hear me. I'd really appreciate if I can get that feedback if you can hear me. So we'll just move on. I think Coach Abdulatif will join in. All right. Just standing on existing protocols. So please just let me know. Can you hear me before I continue? So I'm not saying a whole lot of things and then you cannot hear me. So please let me know. Can you hear me? Okay. Um, I don't know. So I want to believe that we can hear me. So I'll just proceed. Like Coach Abdulatif has said earlier, I'm committed to raising the developing the average African child to becoming problem solvers and nation builders. So one of the problems that I have noticed in the way we raise children or in the educational system or the way the educational system prepares people is we don't actually put into consideration the idea of nation building. So an average Nigerian is for himself and his family, and it's really affecting us if you think about it. The average Nigerian concerns themselves with just them and their family. So the whole idea of the nation. It's not really a thing that people are concerned about. It's not something that we share an interest in. So if the nation is going bad, I mean, it's the government, it's their job to fix it. If it's going good, we all enjoy it, right? So I'm going to be taking my lessons in three parts, right? We're going to be looking at the future of work. We're going to be looking at you as a teacher and the future in the whole idea of the future of work. And then we're now going to proceed from you to your learners in the future of work. Okay, so you preparing your learners for the future of work. So we're looking at the future of work in itself. We're looking at you and the future of work, like the teacher and the future of work, and then we're looking at your learners, preparing your learners for the future of work. Okay, so I think Abdulatif is not here to help me see the comments, but I want to believe, in all honesty, that you can see me and you can hear everything that I have said so far. I'd have loved to wait so I can get the feedback, but that would be taking a lot of our time. All right, so let's move forward. Let's um let's look at the future of work. So I believe that this is not a new subject to everybody. This is something that we are well familiar with, okay, when we talk about the future of work, because the whole disruption happening due to technological advancement is affecting me, it's affecting you. We're seeing it. The fact that you can be wherever you are and I'm wherever I am, and I'm speaking to you. We don't have to meet physically, but you can see me, you can hear me, right? Shows that we have advanced. Okay, so a lot has changed. Normally we're supposed to gather together in a particular point, right? So all of these little changes that we see around us, we think most times that, oh, they don't count, they are just, the world is just changing, and that's where we missed it as a country. That's why we missed it as a continent, Africa, right? The world was moving, and we're too concerned with poverty, we're too concerned with a lot of things, probably tradition, cultural beliefs, to follow in the movement. So what we do is we adapt to whatever changes is going around. So the whole idea of artificial intelligence that we're currently facing right now is the brain work of some people in some continents. So whatever it is that they bring out, if they bring out a bot, for instance, or they develop a system, for instance, that threatens the position of mothers. Okay, so now there are bots, there are facilities in China where you can have robots, carry your babies for you, right? So if they come up with such a situation, we over here start looking for ways to adapt. Thank you. Thank you very much, Abdulaziz. We over here, we're not looking for ways to adapt. Thank you. We're looking for ways to adapt to that system. Just like the way we are now, artificial intelligence is affecting the workforce in a lot of places. Thank you, Joanne. In a lot of places. But over here, it seems like a myth. It's still sounding like a possibility and impossibility. Would it work? Would it not work? We're still having those debates, right? While in developed countries, it's not a debate. The governments are putting structures and systems in place to ensure that the workforce are beginning to adapt to the idea of artificial intelligence in the workplace. So yesterday, as part of my preparation for this session, I was listening to former President Barack Obama talk about work and how it is changing in the face of artificial intelligence, right? But those conversations are very scarce in Africa and even in Nigeria. So we want to be able to change these narratives, because everybody isn't seeing the idea of nation building. It's not a collective responsibility over here. If you get to America, there's something called the American dream. So every American, both young and old, holds in their mind the American dream. Okay. But over here, what do we call the Nigerian dream? Everybody just wants to blow. Everybody just wants to make money. But then the person who is making excess money does not know how that affects the economy. So when there is I went to University of Benin over the weekend, and somebody was complaining to me how expensive things have become in Ekosodi. If you are conversant with the University of Benin, you should know Ekosodi. It used to be like one of the cheapest places to live in. Okay, but getting there, these Yahoo boys, they've entered the place, have a lot of investments there, and then they live there as well. So because of how much they are willing to pay for rent, okay, they can't go to a place and then you tell them your room is 50,000 naira. They won't rent it because it doesn't speak, the amount does not speak prestige. It does not shout status. So people started raising their rents. Okay, so landlords in that environment started raising their rents. So a room that usually used to be 90K, there was one I knew really well that was 90K as at the time I was in school. That was around 2018, 2017, right? But now that room is 250,000 naira. So these people that want to cash out, that want to make money, they do not know how that excess money is affecting the economy. So if we had availability, there was no scarcity of whatsoever of houses or food, there was sufficient to go around to mop up this cash, we would not have the rise in price that we do have. So they do not understand how our day-to-day activities affect the basic economics on which the nation runs. So all of these things are things we want to change. So when we hear preparing our learners for the future of work, it's really not something so large. It's not so different from what you'll be doing in your classroom. The only difference is we're doing it with a different mindset. So in one of my conversations with Gemini, that's the conversational bot from Google, I asked it, I said, what's the future of work going to be like? And it said it's simply an integration between, it's going to see a collaboration between man and machines. And if you look right from the first industrial revolution, we've always had a collaboration between man and machines, right? So we had cranes at construction sites, we had sealing machines, we had blenders, even our homes, we have washing machines and all of that. So these are collaborations between man and machines, even in the home, workplaces, offices, and the rest of them. We have computers, right? But the difference is in this future of work that we are in and gradually gliding in, because believe me, we have not gotten to the peak of artificial intelligence, right? I like to follow Nvidia, I like to follow Jason Huang, because they are the very foundation of whatever you see as artificial intelligence in the world today. Nvidia is the driving force. Okay, so I virtually attended their GTC 2024, where they did the unveiling of the next plan of work of Nvidia and the whole lot they are planning. Okay, Omniverses and the rest of them. So we are yet to even get into the core or the peak of this whole artificial intelligence invasion, right? Now, if you look at your learners, they haven't even scratched Microsoft, right? Even some of us as teachers, we find it difficult. I find it difficult. It's just recently I'm beginning to learn how to use a lot of these Microsoft tools. Why? Because at the time we were learning, computers were very scarce. True or false? If you can use the Microsoft packages, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, Word, which other one am I missing? Presentations, like all those Microsoft packages, you are very proficient in them. I'd like to see you indicate that in the comments. I want to know how many of us are proficient in the Microsoft packages, right? You find that a lot of us as teachers are not even proficient in the Microsoft packages. And then we've moved on to a whole new line of technology. So there's a huge backlog. But here's the beauty of it now. Even your learners have access to smartphones, right? So this brings these things to our fingertips. Some of your learners have laptops in their homes. So it's now very easy for you and I to introduce our learners to this whole technological development, right? But like I said earlier, the difference is now what we're seeing is a collaboration between man and autonomous machines, right? Note that man and autonomous machines. And when we say autonomous machines, we mean machines that have a mind of their own, machines that can act on their own, right? So if you've seen in movies, probably some of us probably would have that in our homes. AI home assistant. So when we say AI, is simply artificial intelligence, having a computer do the work of a human. So what a human would normally do, a computer is now doing that. So if you've seen AI assistants, AI home assistants in action, you'd understand that they really don't need your help. What they need you to do is say the word and it's done. So I think that was in Iron Man. Iron Man is one very perfect example I can always use because I feel like, um, don't mind me, I like using movies as examples. They are really relatable. So if you've not seen Iron Man, you can go and see Iron Man and get the gist, right? So you see Iron Man enter into his home or his workspace and say, Jarvis, even on his suit, he'll be like, Jarvis, what's the status report? So Jarvis will scan his entire suit and tell him that, okay, um, the glove is bad, probably the hand glove is bad, or we've been shot so places, here is damage, that is damage. Or he enters his home and says, Jarvis, a cup of coffee. So even the coffee maker is automated. It just pours out into the cup that's always there. He goes there, pick up the cup, and takes his coffee. He goes, Jarvis, turn on the lights. The lights go on. Play me a song from mentions any artist, and then the song plays. Usually, you do have a DVD player in your house, right? So you have to walk down to that DVD player, turn it on, choose the song you want to play, and then go back to listen. But now you are seated on your chair, and then just ask it to play. It does not need you to search the song or turn it on. Just by the words of your mouth, it goes on. So that's the difference. We've always had a collaboration between man and machines, but what we're having now is a collaboration between man and autonomous machines. So that's the difference in this whole future of work. So what does it mean for us as teachers and what does it mean for our learners? I believe that we cannot affect the learners if the teachers are not affected, if the teachers are not influenced. So whatever change we want to bring to the learners, we first must bring it to the teachers, right? And this is why I have a huge problem with people in the classroom, okay? Whether we are teachers by profession or we are teachers by position, right? There's this mindset that I've seen displayed that is really affecting the quality of education that we deliver. And that is the fact that a lot of persons that studied education do not want to study education. I did not study education, right? I would have loved to, but when we were in secondary school, we used to laugh at our secondary school teachers, like how much are they paid and all of that. So we used to make fun of them. I did not want to be that person that students will make fun of. So I just told myself, cancelled. I went and studied business. And at the end of the day, I found out that my internal build is not tailored to business. I don't have the liver for it. My mind does not really work that fast when it comes to business. But when it comes to education, especially in the aspect of career and then work and all of that, my mind runs really fast, right? Now this is where I want to really bring in teachers, and then before we go on to you preparing your learners, right? As a teacher, I I really fault the idea of what do you want to be in the future. It's wrong. I stand to be corrected though, but it's wrong. Now I'll tell you why it's wrong. Being what you want to be puts a like a clause, right? So I want to be a doctor. After being a doctor, what next? I don't know if you get. So in that documentary, while I was listening to Obama yesterday, he said something. Um, he said They asked him, what advice would you give to young people who are looking forward to entering the labor market, the job market, and all of that? And he said he would tell them, um, be a person that get things done, right? And be focused on doing rather than being. So he said something. He said, someone who wants to build the latest computer, that's what he wants to do, would be more successful than someone who wants to be a computer scientist. I want to build the latest computer. Whatever computer system I meet, I want to build the next one. That person will be more successful than a person who wants to be a computer scientist. As a computer scientist, what else are you bringing to the profession? So that's why I felt the idea of what you want to be. So when I teach my learners, I don't give them the idea of you want to be a particular profession. You want to be a doctor, no. What you want to do should drive who you become. Now, I'm saying this in respect to teachers, right? So most of us did not want to be teachers. We wanted to be doctors. We wanted to be lawyers. So we applied for, say, we applied for pharmacy, and then they gave us biology, right? We applied for law. They threw us to educational management. We applied for, just name it. That's how we applied for computer science. We applied for computer engineering, and then they dumped us at computer science education. So some way, somehow, we now became teachers. We just arrived. We just found out that we're doing teaching practice. Somebody finds an opportunity for us. We end up in the classroom, and we feel like we're in the classroom and we're being boxed in, right? Please, Coach Abdulatif, if you are here, once it's 10 minutes to the end of my session, please just write it in the chat, okay? So that I can see it, and then I'll do the needful, okay? So let's continue. So the idea now becomes that we are now we don't like what we do because we do not want to be teachers. I wanted to be a doctor. Oh, this classroom I am is boxing me, is limiting me. I am not living up to my full potential. And so we see teachers not giving their best. We see teachers not delivering their potentials as they should. Whereas the most fertile place to grow any career, okay, 5 minutes, thank you. The most fertile place to grow any career whatsoever is in the classroom. Is in the classroom. So now let's go over to how you translate that into preparing your learners for this future of work. So first, you don't teach your learners like you are preparing them for a profession. What you're preparing them for is problem solving. So in all your class assessments, in all your class activities, in all your explanations, you want to point your lessons to a particular problem. So for instance, we're doing economics. You're currently an economics teacher in this Nigerian economy, and you're not making reference to the Nigerian economy. There is already a problem. So you want to let them see where, what's it called now? You want to let them see where fiscal policy can be applied in the Nigerian economy. So take a look at the economic situation, right? In this economic situation, which principles of the fiscal and monetary policies can we apply, right? So you engage your learners in a brainstorming session. Now, I understand that you wanted to do something completely different. Probably you wanted to study economics and statistics, and then they threw you to economics education, right? The focus, you want to ask yourself now that you're in this position, what problem do I want to solve? What was the actual problem I was going to solve as an EcoStat graduate? What was that problem? By the time you start working as an economics teacher, you bring your learners into solving that problem. Now, as we round off, I want you to cast your mind back. If you've seen the movie Oppenheimer, right? That movie gives us an insight into what education was like in the days of Einstein, right? So they gather in the classroom, and then the lecturer postulates a problem. What do you think? Do you think the idea of multiverses is a possibility? Do you think the idea of light traveling faster than sound, do you think it's possible? And then the students begin to engage. So you see them, they go back and forth. They are reading all manners of papers. They're doing everything just so that when they come, they can be able to get into an intellectual argument with the lecturer, proving what they believe. But nowadays, we do not give our learners that opportunity. Okay, so we just want them to understand. We just want to explain. We want to tell them what's in the text. We want to follow the curriculum. No, it's when you have a pursuit yourself as a teacher that you are able to bring your learners to tap into that same should I call it vibe now that you have, that same passion that you have. So as a biology teacher, right, as a mathematics teacher, I've seen I watched the movie Foundation, and I came to see mathematics in a completely different light. So as a mathematics teacher, as a biology teacher, as an economics teacher, as whatever you are, whatever you intended to be, right, what problem were you actually going to solve? Bring that problem to your classroom and engage your learners as co-solvers. Now, let me tell you what this is going to do for your learners, right? And if all teachers can bring this to the classroom, so let's say we're all teachers in a secondary school, and I'm able to bring a particular problem in probably the commercial, because I'm going to be a commercial teacher if I were in the secondary school. In the commercial sciences, I bring the problems I'd like to solve. Let's take unemployment for an example. So let's say I'm an economics teacher. Unemployment is a topic. So let's take unemployment as an example. So I bring it to the classroom. How do you think inflation is a contributing factor to unemployment, right? While we're having those discussions, guess what my learners are doing? It's They begin to find where they are interested in. So the finance teacher, the teacher teaching financial accounting comes in and also throws a problem in the financial accounting sector. The students are finding themselves in financial accounting. You see, some of them are able to bring ideas, are able to participate holistically in the discussions in financial accounting, but they might be lagging in economics. Some will be participating fully in the problems you bring up in physics, but it might be lagging in economics and financial accounting. That way, we're helping each and every one of those students find themselves. So they are able to identify problems right from the secondary school. You are giving them opportunities as well through class projects and class assessment to think and come up with solutions for these problems. And guess what? When they move on to the university, they know what they are going there for. We're not just going there to obtain a degree. We're going there for knowledge to solve those problems. So right from secondary school, I've seen that there's a problem with the policies, the economic policies of Nigeria, right? So because of the way it has been discussed in class, with the mindset that we're problem solvers. So as we are studying these things, we're studying it to bring a solution to the problem in the economy of Nigeria. It has already been embedded in me. So when I'm going to the university, I'm going with a mindset that whatever knowledge I'm learning from the economics department, I'm looking at how that knowledge can be applied to the Nigeria economic situation. So it's that simple. Changing the approach of teaching, of delivering your lessons, changing your objective for going into the classroom from earning a living to living out potential. You are able to transfer that same passion down to your learners. And that's one effective way that we are going to prepare our learners for the future of work. Why? Because we're exposing them to the problems of the current state of things. We're exposing them to the problems of the present so that they are able to bring out changing situations for the future. Thank you very much.
Wow, wow! Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Even though my network is really, really just turning me everywhere, I'm not really able to stay.
Oh,
But then at least the
sorry
few
about that.
I, it's really wonderful. It's really amazing, and I believe this is a conversation we need to have more, especially as
Yeah,
teachers, especially
true.
in this particular
Exactly.
time. So thank you so much, Miss River. Thank you so
Thank
much
you for
for
having me.
having a chance
I
to do this. Thank
appreciate.
you so much for the privilege. I really appreciate it, ma. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And very quick, we're going to move on to our next speaker now, because the network issue that we had today has really affected a lot. We are running behind our schedule. So I'm just going to bring our next speaker up. Thank you so much. Okay,
Thank you.
so I'm bringing her up now. Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to start. Okay. Hello. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma. So I'm just going to start by reading out profile. So Mrs. Adebola, so we're having Mr. Adebola Karima Shogui, who's going to be speaking on literacy across the curriculum, strategies for integrating reading and writing in every subject. Okay, so yeah, a few things you need to know about her. Mrs. Adebola Karama Shogui is a principal education officer with the Lagos State Ministry of Education, a teacher trainer, an author, spelling bee and vocabulary handbook, a doctoral student of English language, a British Council's recognized voice of impact. Okay, so thank you so much. You can just can take can go ahead, ma.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here, trying to also lend my voice to those of the voices that have spoken before me and those that are going to
Uh,
speak after me. And those, all of us trying to impact our teaching career and other teachers in the teaching profession. So I'm really happy to be here and I'm glad to have the opportunity to talk
hmm?
about what I love to do. We're talking
You
about
don't need to close.
literacy. Can you
I'm
hear
off the
me?
camera. Come on live, YouTube. Yes, I can hear you, ma.
No. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma. Can you hear me too, ma?
Okay, good. All right. Okay. So, my topic today is literacy across the curriculum, strategies for integrating reading and writing in every subject. First, I'm trying to share my screen, share my slides, but I wouldn't know. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see it. So they can see it too
Good. Okay,
automatically.
so that's good. All right, so that's the topic, literacy across the curriculum, strategies for integrating reading and writing in every subject. So when you see this topic, there are some keywords there that we need to understand what they mean and how do they affect what we want to say. So the first word there is literacy. So what's literacy? To a lot of people, literacy means reading and writing. Yeah, it means reading and writing. But in the 21st century, literacy has gone beyond reading and writing. There are several literacy skills that once you don't have those skills, you would not be anywhere in this time and age of us. So we'll get there. So literacy means reading and writing in the myopic view, in my own understanding. And there are also there are four literacy skills that is very important. Four literacy skills that we've been made to know, and they are actually very, very important in our day-to-day affairs. Those four literacy skills, indeed, they come in this order. When a child is giving birth to, there are some other when they're expected to learn. The first is when they are giving birth to, they don't start to speak immediately. They first listen, they listen to voices around them, they begin to recognize voices, they begin to learn what people are saying. So before you know it, they start speaking in bits. They say, Mommy, water, I want to eat, I want to do this. So that's this next step. So the first literacy skill is listening. The second one is speaking. And then reading comes next when students are able to access education, and then they are also able to write afterwards. That's the last literacy skills. All of them are very important. There's none of this that is not important, especially for us as teachers. There's no way we'll get to the class and then we won't expect our students to listen. We also as teachers have to listen to them. We speak, we tell them what we want them to do, so they listen as well, and they read. If they don't read, they don't read, they are going to they have nowhere to go, because there's no way a child of this time and generation will not be able to read and be able to progress. There's no way. So reading and writing too are really important skills, and that's the emphasis of this topic. So our emphasis is on reading and writing. All the skills are important, but for this topic we are going to be talking about reading and writing. Okay, so other forms of literacy paramount in the 21st century. I said that earlier. So digital literacy, because we are in the century of technology, technological advancements. So there are a lot of digital literacy skills that people need to know. I won't be delving so much into it, but how much do people know about digital footprints? When you go online and you do something online, something that's absurd, you fight everybody online, you use abusive language, you dress inappropriately all the time, nude pictures, posting things that are inappropriate. You are leaving a digital footprint, and a lot of people do not know. It's a kind of literacy that people need to know and try to work along, so that at the end of the day, because if you do not caution what you post online or checkmate it, it's going to come and haunt you. A lot of people have lost their jobs because they lack digital literacy. So that's one. There's information literacy. Some people see someone post online, you just send, okay, when you post this prayer to 25 people, you get 1 million naira. If you do this, you get this. Information literacy. You just share. Some people will not read it because they see that once you post it to 5 people, something is going to happen. Once you post it they don't care. They just send it. You should be able to know, okay, ask. That's one of the essence of education. If you cannot, you are supposed to be able to think critically and analyze matters. So information literacy is very important. You don't just share and post whatever you see online. Media literacy, we all relate to the media, and so it's very important to know about how to analyze, how to criticize, how to use it. So all these things are important. Network literacy is also a skill that we cannot afford to live out in this time and age. What we are doing now, we have a lot of teachers watching this program, and there's an opportunity to network. So you don't just sit there. I was watching Rashida Sadiq this morning when she was saying that we should teach our students how to network when they go out. How do they come? Is the kind of intelligence where they need to not just sit in their shells. When they go out, let them know that they need to mix up, learn from others, interact with people, teach them these things. So there are opportunities, there are very good opportunities. Like we are here today, I am getting to see people, I'm getting to know people. I can decide to network with them so that we can all grow together. This is the time and age of collaboration. So sorry, I'm digressing, but there are really important things I need to say. So let me go on. So now, going back to literacy, in our teaching career, no matter the subject we teach, literacy is one of the key tools that we cannot leave behind. There is no way a teacher, if you call yourself a teacher or there is a student in your school, there is no way they won't be needing literacy. So it's the most important the toolkit we need. The tool we need in our toolkit, instructional toolkit. When we get to class, we have to give instructions. When we get to class and we use language, we speak. We write on the board. Our students write as well. They also speak. They need to read. So it's the most important thing. We as teachers also read. We read when our principals or other members of the management send memos to us. We read and we write to parents of our students. We prepare report sheets, and all these things, all of them have to do with literacy skills. So they are very important in our instructional toolkit. There's no way we can do without it. We as teachers and our students too, as students. So so if you can type how you think it is the most important tool as well, that will be fine. So we can also go on as you type that. So how does it matter, or why does it matter? So first and foremost, it empowers our students. When our students can read and write effectively, they are better equipped with complex subjects. They know things better when they can read on their own. They understand these concepts better. When they can read on their own, they are more empowered. They feel fulfilled. They feel happy. They feel rich. They don't have to have money. Okay, they are on their own. They are able to read some things from the social media, for instance. A lot of students now, they find it hard to. They don't like to read, but as much as they don't like to read, they still read things from their phones, from the social media. So when they read, they become empowered. No matter if, but it now depends on what they read that would determine the kind of person they would turn out to be. So when they read things that have to do with their studies, that have to do with their education, they turn out to be good. They feel better equipped. They read about biology. They read history of people, that great people in the past. They read these things. They feel moved. When you read about places that you've never been, you feel like you are there. So that's the importance of, they feel empowered. And some people now, they talk to you about America, they talk to you about Dubai, they talk to you about places, and they've never been there, but they are able to talk to you about those things because they have read about it, and you would never believe that they've never been there, and they talk to you authoritatively. So that's the power of literacy. Another reason why the literacy is needed, or importance of literacy, is for lifelong success. For you, beyond, I always tell my students that beyond passing my exam, I want them to pass. I'm here to teach them, to impact into them. So in as much as I want them to pass my exam, I always emphasize it. So from the lowest of them, or from the youngest of them, to the oldest, I emphasize it each time, that each time I come to your class, I have come here to impact in you, so that on your own you'll be independent. I'm impacting in you for lifelong success. It's beyond just passing. I want you to pass. So as I'm teaching you English studies, you are going to pass your exams. If you understand what I'm teaching you now, it's that it's what I'm teaching you now is going to build into the future. So as I'm teaching you in JSS1, when you get to SS3, this exact thing is what you'll be taught. Although with some form of changes, some things are just static. So just learn it once and for all. And then beyond just passing, when I tell you, okay, this is a sound, pronounce it this way, this word is pronounced this way, this sentence should be read this way. You don't use past tense and present tense, in some situations. I tell them these things, and I tell them beyond all these things, beyond, okay, literacy, foster good and meaningful communication. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank Joanne. So I tell them that beyond passing my exam, you will speak better, and people will know you have come to school. You'll be different from somebody that's not been to school. So you speak better, you write better, you can read instructions for yourself. You go anywhere, you miss your way, you can read the instructions on the billboard, you can call somebody, you can read whatever people have sent to you. It's easy. It makes life easy for you to navigate. So your success, you're able to read your mails, a lot of things, you get jobs, you get good jobs, you see advert placements, you can read the instructions and the terms and conditions for employment, all these things. If you are not able to interpret them, because they have to do with literacy, if you are not able to interpret these things, there's no way such a person will go far in life. So that's one of the importance of literacy, and then it enables people to think critically. All right. So curriculum is one of the topics, one of the points, keywords in the topic. So curriculum is all about everything students have to learn, which is planned and directed by the school to attain its goals. Like the things the school or the educational service providers have planned for as activities for students that would help them to learn within the school premises, things that have to do with their education that help them to develop within the school. And some of these things are arranged to be, they're not part of the school program directly. For instance, when students go on excursion, They're supposed to learn. It's part of the school program. It's an extracurricular activity, but it's also part of the curriculum because it's supposed to be an avenue for students to learn. So that's what curriculum is all about. A kind of planned program where students' expectations to be able to reach their goals are planned, and they're helped to develop traits. Okay, so at the early year stage, sorry, my slide is not displaying properly, but it's okay. So how do we now incorporate literacy into different subjects? I'm going there already. And then, our students come in different levels. So we have students of the early years, we have the nursery, we have the primary, we have the secondary. So all of them we need to incorporate literacy skills into all the levels we teach. It's not just the younger learners. Although the emphasis is usually on younger learners, that they are the ones that we need to teach how to read, they are the ones that we need to teach how to write. But we discover that even older learners too, they don't like to read. They don't like to write. So how can we help them to read? How can we help them to write? So that's what we'll be talking about now. And that's the crux of our discussion. So now, to teach students of the early years, you start with, that's when we are teaching them literacy. We are teaching them literacy now. So we start to teach them the letter names. Letter names are your A, B, C, D, your alphabet. And then the sounds. So there are different phonics scheme that are introduced to early years learner that helps them to write and to speak correctly and to also read. So you teach them how to read through phonics. So when you teach them the letter sounds, they sound those words, they sound. So it depends on what scheme we are using. If I'm very familiar with the Jolly Phonics scheme, which has some stages, 7 steps, where all the letter sounds are given, 7 on a line, and then they learn to pronounce it, ah, and all those sounds. And then afterwards, they are taught the letter names. The letter names, like, for instance, my name is Karama. That's my letter name. So, and I always talk. So those sounds that come out from my mouth, they are the sounds. But my name, for instance, now, when we have letter A, that's the letter name. That's the name. And the sound is ah. It makes the sound ah. So there are different ways of teaching them the phonics. So also teach them how to write these things. When you're teaching them that this is what this is called, this is the letter name, this is the sound, how do you write them? Teach them. Let them know you have to write some of those words on the line. These ones are tall letters, these ones are short letters, this one should not go beyond the line. Whenever you write letter A, you should write it round and it should be sitting on the line. But when you write words like Y, letters like letter Y, they should fall below the line. When you write so and so, this is a tall letter. Letter F is a tall letter. It falls on the line, not under the line. Tell them all these things. So you teach them and then you let them see. Let them write it in their notes or on the board. When you want to let them write well, beyond writing in their notes alone, there are different things they can write in that will make this writing interesting to them. So some of them, even older learners, as older SS3 students and even university students, you're teaching them in the class and they have something to say, let them say it. And if there are instances where they need to write, let them write on the board. Others will see it and they'll be happy. So allow them to write whatever they're able to say. Give them the opportunities to write soon. Okay, so for younger learners, as I was saying, they can write in their books, where the books would have been ruled the way they're supposed to write. They can write in sand trays. There's something we call sand trays, where clean sand will be poured. Some of them colored, washed, clean, fine sand that they can trace. So let them write these letters in them, and then gradually they write in their notes as well, and then trace from different things. Also, they learn to blend. When they learn to blend, they are gradually becoming readers. So when they blend 3 sounds together, s, a, s, when they put it together, you let them teach them how to put these 3 sounds together, sat, and then that's the beginning of learning to read, the beginning of literacy proper. Okay. Then beyond that, they learn with different examples, practice. It's not something that they just learn like in one day. It takes some time, gradual. Okay. And then I can see good literacy skill help one personality to be respectful. Yeah, and to be respected. Yes, thank you very much. Remember, yeah, yes, people respect you when you are literate. All right, they learn to segment beyond blending. They put words together. So when they want to begin to write, they must learn to separate these sounds. Okay, when you tell them write flip, flip, they know flip in their head, they process it. And when they want to write, they have to be able to separate these sounds. That's segmenting. Uh, they sound a flow. A, and then you teach them. There are ways of teaching these things. Those are the kind of things I teach teachers, how to teach students these literacy skills through Jolly Phonics. They do all this through games, songs, stories, so it bring about interesting activities for them. For instance, when you're teaching Jolly Phonics, there are songs that go along each sound, there are actions, there are games. So all these things will make reading and writing interesting. They won't be bored, and we need to incorporate it as they go on. So as they grow older, it's not just for younger learners to play games. Older learners to have activities. They have games that you can incorporate to make teaching fun all the time. Now, the strategies for teaching. So after having learned some of these things, in the early years, they move on. So in the early years, maybe students of 5, 6, 7, literacy has not stopped. Even for them to, they still need to continue to learn to read, continue to write. So now I'll be moving on to different subjects. I'll be moving on to different. I'll be moving on to different subjects. So, sorry, just a minute, please. So I'll be moving on to different subjects, strategies for teaching. So even as parents at home, we can use this kind of we can use these strategies for them. So for instance, we want to bake at home, we can let them see the recipes together. Okay, I want to bake a cake. Now, I don't know how to bake it, or even if I want to know, but I want to teach my children, I can always bring out the recipe from wherever it is, whether from my phone or from a book or something, and let them read it. Okay, we need a cup of flour, they read it. That's literacy, because without being able to read, they cannot know what they need, if they have not been taught. So we need a cup of flour, a liter of so and so, a pinch of salt, all those things. Let them read it, and then as they read it, they practice it. So no matter the age, the child will be happy to be involved, and they are learning. So there are different ways of learning. So reading the prescription on drug labels, you buy a drug, you don't just tell them, oh yeah, go and take a cup of, go and take a full spoon. Go and take, let them read it. Okay, for adults, they read for adults. For children should take just 3 spoons. Or half a 10 ml. So from there, they know what 10 ml is. You show them, okay, this is a cup that you use. Look at the liters, they are written there: ml, 5 ml, 2.5, all those things are labeled, to let them know, and then let them know how to measure it. So the essence of literacy is to be able to help yourself. So when you are doing this, don't do it alone, don't do it for them, let them get involved every moment. Hand them the shopping list. When you're going for shopping, add them the shopping list. You have listed everything you want. Tell them, okay, now we want to buy cornflakes, we are going to buy this, we are going to buy that. It's on the list. So let them look out for it. Even the ones they are not familiar, maybe there's something new that they don't know, you have written it. Let them check. When you get to the aisle where those things are displayed, just tell them, okay, you find it somewhere here, so look for it. And then from there, they begin to check. They check what you have written, and they look at whatever they find on the shelves, and then they are learning. So it's part of learning. Okay, so every moment are opportunities to develop literacy for young children and for even adults. We move. So in a science class, this now we're getting to the secondary level or even the higher institution. So students can be paired before conducting an experiment to read related articles. You pair them up, read this article, and carry out the instructions that you find. So they read together. When they read, they know that after it, we have something to present or we have something to discuss. They want to read to understand it. If they don't understand, they ask questions. So reading together, bringing them together in pairs encourages them to read and try to understand, because they won't want to be left behind. So you bring them together to learn. In a biology class, students read about osmosis and diffusion, and they discuss it. What is osmosis? When they define it, and they define it, they experiment it, the teacher describes it to them. I'm not a scientist, but they describe it to them. I've had a situation where a teacher brought in is it perfume. It's the head diffuses into the environment. So it's a way of teaching them diffusion. And then osmosis too is like the opposite. So there are ways of practicing these things, and the students will see it. And having read about it and they have practiced, it's going to help them a lot to keep that into their memories. So they can also, having seen how these things work, they can then tell them, write about it. They will never forget, because they have seen it work, they have read it on their own, and then now they are writing. When they write, anything you write, in fact, one of my teachers, social studies teacher, Mr. Shopekon, when we were in my secondary school, then I was in JSS2. He taught me from JSS 1 to 3, social studies. She used to tell us that whatever you write, you would never forget. And that has stuck to me. Each time I want to even write my exams, I find it very, very easy to jot. I jot a lot. So I jot, and as I'm jotting, not what I'm jotting, I already know it. But when I write it down, it just takes. So it's my own way of learning. So when you write, it helps our students. So let them write, read, write, read, write. Okay, in a literature class, how can we introduce literature? How can we introduce literacy? How can we teach them to read and write in a literature class? So I assign to them groups. We group our students, and when we group them, we don't just leave them and stay outside somewhere in the class. We move around to ensure that everybody is participating. Then there has to be a leader and a scribe. The scribe is like the secretary that's supposed to be writing, but that's not just the job of all of them should pay attention and be a part of it, because at the end of the day, you let them know that there's going to be somewhere you're going to write these things for me. You're going to be your assignments. Each of you will be on his own during the assignment. So ensure that you follow. The leader too will be there to monitor. All of them, they're just giving them responsibilities. Not as if only those that have been given responsibilities are going to be working. So please always involve your students. Thank you very much. Mufat, I don't know, sorry, the name, Mufata Data Businesses. Thank you. All right. So tell the students that they will be presenting a play based on the chosen text. You have it in the literature class. Tell them, okay, we are reading Olaroti means the God are not to blame. So in this play, you are going to read it and you're going to act it out in groups. So there's no way, if they are going to be acting, I'm going to be acting a role, then I must know the role. So I have to read the book. So when you tell them this thing we are going to do, we are going to be acting it out, they have to be involved. They have to be involved. So that's the way it is. So involve them. So when you tell them, I'll be testing you on this thing, they will want to read, except somebody that doesn't care whether I fail or pass. But if you always let them know these things we are doing, you're not doing it for, don't take it for granted. Beyond this time, it's going to be very useful for you later in the future. So when you make your classes interactive and let them know the essence, you don't just give instructions. You give instructions, but at the end of the day, let them know this is why I am telling you this. It's not going to end here, especially we that teach in my subject. I always tell you, this subject you are learning is beyond just the school. It makes a difference in your life. There's nowhere you will go that you don't need English. To get to another class, if you fail English, you will not get promoted for a public school system. To get to the university, if you don't pass English, you cannot go, because if you pass all subjects, you get A1 in all subjects, and fail English, you get D whatever, or you get F, you're going nowhere. If you fail English in JAM, or you fail, okay, JAM is still, but you still have to do English is the only compulsory subject. So they know that to pass, you did in English. To go online, there are lots of languages there, but the most popular language online is English. So there's no way you can run away from it. So let them know the essence of all you're teaching them. And the more they know, the better for them. So let them act out those plays. So before then, they have to practice it. And then you tell them that they need to, okay, then they summarize the text. So you could tell them, okay, today we are going to summarize what we have read. So even if it is a chapter or you have read 3 chapters, please put into everything you have read into just one page. Tell us the brief on your brief understanding of the 3 chapters you have read. Let them write it. So it's a way of letting them write. They have to write. That's why they are in school. Let them act out the plays and present to the class and perhaps a larger audience. I've talked about presenting to the class, but even you can go beyond the class. You can tell the school that during our prize giving ceremony, we have a play we want to present. And so all the students will put in their effort to ensure that the play is a success. So you're helping them, and then it's a skill. Some of them, at the end of the day, they become actors, they become script writers, they become stage directors, anything. They learn a lot of skills through what they are learning in school. Some of them become journalists because you have taught them how to make reports, how to write a lot of things. So we are building them through whatever we teach them in class. I don't know how much time I have left. So
Okay,
also,
actually,
how many minutes do I have?
I've actually sent you a message like up to like 2 minutes ago, ma. So
Oh,
time is actually up, so you can just round up, ma.
I'm
So sorry
sorry.
about that.
Oh,
Please,
I
this
have
time
a
I
lot
know.
to say, and
I
I'm
know.
sorry I'm not taking cognizance
Wow.
of the time. Okay, all right. Dictate to them. Let them create classroom displays on their own based on what you have taught them. Um, I'll be wrapping up. Okay, you can also mark their notes. Give those that have beautiful handwriting special gifts, reward them. Others will say, oh, I also want to, and tell them why you are giving the person a special gift. Okay, look at this note, it's well outlined, the margin is there, neat, no cancellations, all those things. So you want to also strive to write very well. So reward students that are trying in all these things. So let me go. In a math lesson, we can also introduce, I've talked about English basically. That's why I'm saying that I've not gone far. So in a math lesson, students can be encouraged to write, problem solving skills. If they cannot read the problems, those kind of questions that we have to read. So if they cannot read it, they cannot interpret it, they are not going to pass it. So they have to be able to read and understand it. So when they understand it and they're able to answer it, that's good. And afterwards, you can even write out how the process they used in getting into the answers. So at the end of the day, they gain more from that. So without being able to interpret questions, there's no way they can ask. How do they so they can read the whole question, underline important mathematical words, phrases, values. When they read the question, they underline, okay, 100%. I'm looking for this thing has to be 100%, or the answer has to be 60% or something. The important numbers there, they underline it. They annotate the diagrams, graphs, or charts. When they say 90 degrees, they go there and draw the line for 90. I'm not a mathematician, I'm just using my so they go and draw the line for 90 degrees. They annotate, they make marks on their drawing or diagrams. They take off information as you use it. They draw extra diagrams if needed. They look at the final sentence of the question, make sure that they refer back and ensure that the answers are carefully written. Okay, so that's math. So that means that they also need literacy skills to be able to handle their math questions very well and to be able to answer correctly. So for social studies, students can read historical documents, biographies, key figures, and act out these personalities. Okay, when they read about somebody in history, they read out somebody has spoken about Einstein. When they read about him, they can talk. Maybe they read speeches of Obama. They read about whoever all the presidents we have had in the past, Nnamdi Azikiwe, all those people. When they read about them, they've read their speech. You can tell them, okay, come and act like Barack Obama. Come and act like Nnamdi Azikiwe. Come and act like Tinubu. Let them read the presidential speeches and then practice it in class. When they read it, they get enlightened. They know what has happened in the past and they can relate with it. And let them even criticize it. Okay, what do you think is wrong in what these people are doing? It's not everything about being, they can emulate, but if there are things they need to criticize, let them criticize it. Let them craft speeches like important personalities. Please behave like a VC. Write a speech as a VC in an open ceremony of the matriculation, things like that. Give them tasks, or write an opening a speech as the class captain in a prize giving ceremony of your class. Let them be involved. So they learn to read. Through that, they write. When they're trying to prepare the speech, they will read How have others done it? Let me do like that person. And then let me now, how do I read it? So how do I present it? All these things matter. So all these topics, all the subjects have a way of putting in, you have to incorporate literacy skills. So I'm going to be wrapping up. Home economics, we talked about involving, just like what I said earlier, recipes, nutritional information, articles on healthy eating habits. They can read all those and practice it. Assign tasks to them. In music class, they can read about different music genres, styles, and then compose their own songs. When they read about it, they have read about hip hop, they have read about juju, high life, all those forms of music, and then let them, okay, which one do you like? Which style do you like? Compose yours in any style you like. You have so all these things incorporate literacy into all the subjects. All subjects have a way of, of a way we can incorporate reading and writing. In a physical education class, let them read about the importance of exercises, fitness, healthy living. Let them read about it and let them write their goals in line with these things they have read. What's your goal about healthy living? What target are you setting for yourself and all that? So let them be involved, and I can tell you, by at the end of the day, they will not be the same kind of students you met them when you're leaving them as their teacher. So thank you very much for having me. I'm happy I've been able to um, come to the end of
Wow,
the
wow,
lesson.
wow. This is so great. Thank you so very much. I know the time is really short for the amount of value you want to share with us. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I don't take this privilege for granted. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Thank you so much for honoring it. I know it takes you a lot for you to be here, not just here, but also to share this such amount of value with us. Thank you so very much, man. Please let's appreciate our speaker. Thank you so much. And we're going to be moving to the last panelists are ready for us issue when we started today. So it really hindered a lot of things. But then I'm glad that we are still here together. Okay, so thank you so much again, Mrs. Shubui. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. Thank you, ma. So we're moving on to the last session now. Okay, and I'm just going to be bringing up our panelists. So you have been wondering, I've been hearing about what the 1 million teacher is all about, and you have been hearing about 1 million teachers, but you don't know what it's all about. I'm glad to inform you that this session you're going to get everything you need to know about 1 million teacher because today we're going to be having two blackbirds. Uh, 1 million teacher blackbirds. They're not just blackbirds, they are mentors. Okay, they have gone through the 1 million teachers training program. They've seen the impact. They have helped other people get into the training, help impact other people, and they have seen the transformation in their life. And then what I believe is that like I was speaking with Mr. Patrick yesterday, and I I mentioned something and I said, it's just like when you taste something good and then you now say that this thing is very sweet. Then the next thing you want to do now is to invite other people to also come and part of it. So and that's it. So but today, we're not going to be restricted to just 1 million teacher. Our topic today is professional learning community. Okay, professional learning communities. And that's example of that is what we are is 1 million teacher. Leveraging collaborative learning for ongoing development. And we're going to be having our two panelists, Mrs. Mudupe Olani, and Prince Patrick Osadebe. I hope I get that right. So I'm just going to read out their profile a bit so that we can get to know them. So, Ms. Mutupi Olani is a digital educator, gender equality advocate. She's a teacher's lead, mentor, a 1 million teacher, black belt mentor, an ambassador. She's UK online tutor and UNESCO MGIEP certified teacher. She's a child enthusiast. So please let's make welcome Mrs. Mutupi Olani. And then we have Prince Patrick. So I'm just going to read out his profile out too. Just give me a sec. Okay, so Prince Patrick Osadebe is a 1 million teachers black belt and mentor, and also an educator with over 20 years working experience. He currently works with Intercontinental Schools, Kano. He's a writer, a social media content creator, a tech trainer, security expert, and a counselor. He has gotten so many awards, which include Nigerian Police Force Training Award on Security, Consciousness, Learn Africa Curriculum Review Award, Generation Next Honorary Award for Mentorship Guidance to Teenagers, and so many others. Okay, so let's make welcome. And then finally, I have the honor of introducing my own coach, my own mentor, Coach Omolara. She's going to be the one to anchor this session. She's just going to ask them three questions so that you can get to know about what is doing to about. So I'm going to just be at the backstage while they work on it. So Coach Omolawa is an English teacher, English language teacher, and mentor on various platforms, library, early childhood education consultant. She's a UNESCO MGIP digital and social emotional educator and a staff of 1 million teachers. She has been teaching for more than 2 decades. So the people we have here, they are not small. They are not teachers who started yesterday or started the day before yesterday. They have been teaching for a long time, and then they're part of the 1 million teacher training program. Kuchumala is one of the staff. She's a mentor herself, and our panelists too are mentors and they are black belts. So if you are going to learn about home minister from anywhere, this is the best place to learn it from. So please make sure you pay attention, make sure you follow up. So Ma, you can take the floor, Ma. Who's going to be at the backstage?
All right. Thank you, Abdulatif. Thank you, 1 million teachers ambassadors, Prince and Mudupe Olani. Thank you very much for gracing this wonderful occasion. It's something good for even as they go on in their profession, because a teacher who relies, like I said yesterday, a teacher who relies basically on his or her university degree cannot make much impact in the classroom, not to talk of in the community. So this gives room for different online courses that that brings about development, personal development in teachers all over the world. And of course, we have so many online courses that teachers can take, that teachers can be involved in, that will help their professional development. Um, of course, as teachers, I know you must have come across different types of, professional courses online and even on site. But I know maybe most of you must have heard of 1 million teachers, or even if you've never heard of 1 million teachers, I have these two wonderful people here who are going to tell us all that we need, or most of all we need to know about 1 million teachers. So let me start with you, Modupe. If a teacher comes across 1 million teachers, what should be the first thing on their mind? Sorry, I can't hear you. Is your mic muted? No sound still.
Can you
All
hear
right.
me?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Good day, everybody. It's a privilege to be here today and to be talking about 1 million teacher. It's really a great privilege to be here. And firstly, we want to introduce 1 million teacher. And the first thing that comes to our mind is, what is 1 million teacher? So we had to first tell you what is 1 million teacher and the mission of 1 million teacher and the benefit of being a graduate of 1 million teacher as a black belt. So what is 1 million teacher? 1 million teacher is an international an organization that is based in Canada. It's an international organization, not Nigerian based, but it's an international organization based in Canada with a mandate. It has a mandate And the mandate is to raise millions of teachers across the world, not only in Nigeria, not only in Africa, but most especially in Sub-Saharan African, because these are where the vulnerable and the less and warrants and teachers are. So the mandate start from African first, then but it's for all teachers across the world. So that is the first thing you need to know about 1 Million Teacher. It's an international organization with a mandate. It has a mandate to do what? It has the mandate to raise millions of teachers, because we know that there are teachers in classes, they are not competent, they are not motivated, they are not trained, they don't have the skill, they don't have the prerequisite to be in the classroom. So what 1 Million Teacher does is it has an online e-learning platform whereby we can go through courses that makes us a better teacher, that makes us professional teachers, that makes us to be motivated to know to get along with the new and strategies, new developments, new teaching strategies that we can use now, not the updated ones of teaching methodologies. So that is what 1 Million Teacher is all about for now. Then it has its own programs. We have different programs for teachers, but the one that is most important to be a black belt is the black belt is called our signature and online program, which is the black belt course, whereby you go through and courses, you go through courses in belts. They are in stages, they are in belt stages, from the white belt, you go through those belts, yellow belt, the orange belt, the girl rising, the blue belt, you have the orange belt, the black and the brown belt, the pink belt, you have the list of them. So the last belt, which is the gray belt. So when you go through those belts, there are a lot. We cannot even say everything in the black belt. But when you go through those courses, you are redefined, you are renewed, you unlearn, you relearn, and you keep learning. In fact, you'll be surprised that, wow. So there are a lot of these strategies that I've not been using as a teacher. You do UDL, the teacher's emotional intelligence, just like Ms. Rashida just spoke about this morning, and there are a lot of teachers being a leader in the classroom, the heart of a teacher, and we have a lot of courses to go through. So, but this morning we'll be talking about just 4 important and aspects that we need to know as we go through these courses. And that is, the first one is the Black Belt program and the HP mentorship and mentor a teacher program. Then Mr. Patrick goes through the social media handles and the other one that is going to be talking about. So what is the Black Belt program? Just like I said, going through the courses, you go through the courses in phases, they are in form of belts, like you're fighting a taekwondo. You go through the white belts like that to the last belt. Then you now become a black belt holder. After you go through those courses, you now become a black belt holder. And being a black belt holder, there are a lot of benefits. There are a lot of benefits. If I'm saying there are a lot of benefits, you have a lot of benefits. So I like to read some of the benefits that you stand to and gain as a black belt holder. The first one is that you will obtain an international certificate. Because I told you that it's an international organization from Canada. So the first thing is that you obtain an international recognized certificate, where when you show that in your school, wherever you are, it's pitch, your numeration, you get more pay, and that you are more recognized as a teacher in your school. That is the first thing. And the second thing is that you enjoy a lifelong learning. We have a learning community that we learn every Thursday. When Prince Patrick will talk more about that, so you enjoy that, whereby you have different educators from every part of the world to come and train us on the new strategies. We learn, we unlearn, like I said earlier. So the second one is that you enjoy lifelong weekly training by masters in the field, then you are officially a 1 million teacher ambassador. Officially, you become a 1 million teacher ambassador. You can see us on our t-shirts. We are 1 million teacher ambassador. Wherever we go, we are proud to say we are 1 million teacher ambassador. I can say it anywhere. They know me in my school. They know me around everywhere. I flaunt 1 million teacher because I am proudly an ambassador. And also, you are enrolled in the HP Mentor a Teacher program. It is not automatic. You have to go through our courses. When you go through those courses, you graduate, and there is a big graduation for you. There's a big graduation that 1 million teacher we hold as regards being a grad, because they appreciate you learning new things. They appreciate you being a graduate from their platform. So they celebrate you in grand style. When you join us, you will understand better what I'm saying. So you are enrolled in an HP Math program. And what is this HP Math program? It is an HP Mentor a Teacher program, which is aimed at bringing inclusive content and collaborative learning to teachers. We just ended the fourth cohort, like, and 2 weeks ago. Is it up to 2 weeks? And maybe 10 days ago, we just ended the fourth cohort, whereby we have a one-on-one support. You mentor a teacher through for 6 months, and you have topics like and digital inclusivity. You have leadership development, success mindset, and to just talk. We bring down everything that we have learned, sharing our experience, our insights, and you have them all. Then you have a teacher who has gone through that stage before to mentor you. They give you a one-on-one support for whatever you want to learn or whatever you want to unlearn. So that is what the HP program is all about. So if you want to know more about us, you can go through, we have our social media handles where Patrick will tell us more about that. Thank you. I'm 1 million teacher and I'm proudly
All
one.
right.
I want ambassador. Thank you so much for the
All right.
privilege.
Thank you, Modupeola. Now, Patrick, the other day I was, discussing with some teachers around me, and I said, I wonder why we don't have, most especially in Nigeria, we don't have, is it a union of private school teachers, will I call it now, or let's say a community of private school teachers? Private schools, it seems we don't have such. But I think 1 million teachers has been able to achieve that feat, bringing together teachers, either from private schools or from public schools, which I've never seen on any other platform. Can you shed more light on how 1 million teachers has been able to bring teachers together?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you for having me on this lovely program. Well, talking about how 1 million teacher has been able to bring together teachers, just like we say, professional leveraging learning communities. 1 million teachers has been able to do this in the sense that as you learn through the program, like just what Moduber said, when you become a black belt, one of the things we always tell everybody that becomes a 1 million teacher black belt is that you now enter what we call lifelong learning. And now, lifelong learning involves you learning from other people, learning from different aspects, learning from other educators ahead of you and from educators outside the world, bringing in different ideas. And the way 1 million teachers has been able to do this, just like Modupe mentioned, we have a Thursday weekly session wherein we get to interact, rub minds on different learning pedagogy, where you as a teacher, you come to hear certain things about the education sector that, yes, traditionally in the old, it would have not been there. But in this 21st century, these are things that you as a 21st century teacher need to know. You need to understand that times are changing and you need to get abreast with all this. Like here in Kano State, Nigeria, the 1 million teachers black belt. Every month we get together to meet. Teachers from different schools get to meet once in a month, where we get to brainstorm on classroom curriculum. We get to brainstorm on different learning areas. And all this is now fostering unity. You get to see that you are working with various other educators, learning from them. What are they doing in your school that is different that I can apply in my school? I remember I had to learn from a black belt of mine. I had to learn one certain areas on teaching on gamification before the 1 million teachers. We learned gamification in the Thursday weekly session. So you can learn things from each other. And 1 million teacher is fostering, bringing us together, helping us know that yes, as teachers, we can help each other. Like they say, iron sharpens iron. So these
Mm.
various communities, the social media platform, of course, our Facebook platform, our Facebook community is here, wherein you get to see things, you get to ask questions, you get to hear various quotes, there are so many things you are seeing. And you as a teacher, yes, in the world we are today, if you want to remain relevant, if you want to remain at the top of your game, you have to collaborate. You have to see how you
Yes.
can work together with people. And mind you, the world now is a global village where you don't just have to go say you want to call the person. At any instance, you can just chat up that person and get the much needed information you need. And 1 million teachers has made this possible. We have our WhatsApp groups, we have our social media handles, and in every state in Nigeria and around the world, we are there collaborating and learning from each other. That is what I have for it now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prince. Yes, again to you, Modupe. I've heard some people say, when you introduce maybe an online course to them, they say, "Oh, I think we see the same thing over and over on many platforms and all of that." Can you just, give us a little insight into some of the interesting topics or modules that a teacher is bound to come across on the 1 million teachers platform?
Hmm. Well, we have over 350 courses, 350 courses in the 1 million teacher black belt program. But we have in the white belt, that's the first stage. We have the heart of the teacher, the heart of the teacher that teach you how a teacher should be the qualities of a good teacher. What are the qualities of a good teacher? There are some things that you will see and you'll be surprised that so I've been lacking in all these qualities. But through that belt, you'll be able to learn that as a teacher, we are some of us are far behind and what is
Mm.
expected of us as a teacher. So this is one of the most important and belt that I don't joke with, the heart of a teacher. We also have UDL. I remember recently in my school, there was a way I arranged the sitting position of my learners in the whole school. I arranged it in a U kind of sitting position. And the proprietors or my proprietors came to my class and was like, why is other people not inculcating this kind of sitting position? I said, ma, I learned it from 1 million's teacher, the UDL, and I know that there are some advantage of a child. The sitting arrangement of a child can affect the learning and ability of a child. So,
Yes.
that sitting
Yes.
arrangement helped me to move around, see what they are doing, capture. So I learned that from the UDL. That is Universal and Design for
Design learning.
Learning. Yes, universal design for learning. It's one of the topic in 1 million teacher. We have the emotional intelligence. we have a lot. We have we have a lot of courses in 1 million teacher. We have we have when autistic, when this thing goes wrong, when Mr. Patrick, please just take over the courses, because I want to
Yes.
I have so many streams coming on my head now, and I don't want to I have a lot of
There is one interesting topic that that always draws my attention. Anytime I scan through those topics again, it's called the six
thinking.
thinking hats.
Yes,
The
Yeah,
six
the
thinking
yeah,
hats.
thinking heart.
Of
Yes,
course,
yes, yes.
when you see such a topic, you like,
Love them so.
what are the hats? You want to
Heart,
know
yes,
what
yes.
the
What
six
do you
thinking
think? Yes,
hats are.
to
You
relate all those
understand? So
things
I
to
know,
it. Yes,
Patrick, you have some other interesting courses, topics that you
courses.
I
can.
well, for me, I would say one of the things, let me just come from this side. I think one of the things people have to understand with 1 million teachers program is that, look, I'm not trying to say, yes, what we did in our university days, our NCE program is not good. But realistically speaking, 1 million teacher brings to bear real life experience, what you as
Yes.
a teacher will face in the class. Everything you are seeing there on the program is, I think from me, for the whole program, one of the things that stands out for me is the pink belt, teaching students in poverty.
Special
That
Mm,
education.
is one thing that stands out for me. This is something you cannot learn in any school. Teaching students in poverty. How do you, as a teacher, manage students? These students are not well to do, but yet they want to come to school because of
yeah.
their uh, low income. They don't have that zeal to learn. How do you now push them? How do you encourage them? And 1 million teacher has given us those tools. It gives you real life, what you need for real life
Experience.
incorporation into how you work as a teacher. So to me, it's all encompassing. You are now not just having what we call head knowledge, you're applying life knowledge into your
Directly to
teaching.
your class.
And that is what 1 million teacher for me, it's all about.
Mm. All right. Thank you so much. Before we go, one more thing. Apart from classroom impact, 1 million teachers I know also have room for community impact. So,
Yeah.
in what ways, as 1 million teachers, empower teachers to make community impact? And first of all, what does community impact mean to you as a teacher? Patrick, can you?
Well, when we say community impact, for me as a person, I would say one of the things I got to understand is that 1 million teacher is not just making me a different teacher, it's also making me a different person.
Mm,
There is an improvement in the kind of way I think. I'm not just thinking solely on now my academic or my educational aspect. It has brought me to an extent that it brings out a passionate drive for you to be better, for you to contribute the best of yourself to the environment. And how does that come about? Now, through so many things that 1 million teacher brings up, you begin to see that you are willing to give back to the community. You are willing to do more for people around you. You are willing to see that, yes, things change around you. Things that have been done this way, they get to see that, okay, no, we shouldn't do it like it was done before. We need a change. And when you find out that this passion has been awoken in you, you find out that you see that it's not geared again now towards education. Like me now, I know that yes, most of us will say when it comes to teaching in the classroom, we are talking about subjects, gamification, and all. But most of the time, when we come to things like mentorship, counseling, uh, writing, all those things, yes, those are individual professions that people can carry out. And 1 million teacher helped me to build up a community. It has helped me build up a community since I started my writing skill. It has helped me build up a community of people that want to learn how to also write. They have seen themselves that, wow, I can become a good writer tomorrow. So let me learn. And these are people that are not even in the educational line. These are people like doctors, engineers from different fields, and they are coming to learn because 1 million teachers imparted something onto me, into me, and now I am giving it out. And in a joking aspect, I normally tell people that 1 million teacher takes you from being a teacher to being an educator. Because as a teacher, yes, you are just applying some certain skills you learn from the school. But as an educator, you are applying worldwide professional knowledge. You are all encompassing. So this thing now that everything is that is inside you, you are giving it out to people around you, not just to the class that you teach. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So, Modupe, what's if anyone wants to be a part of this 1 million teachers program? What will such a person need? Do you need a certain qualification to join, or do you need some certain? Just tell us what do we need to be a part of this 1 million teachers program?
Okay, because the 1 million teacher is centered towards teachers' development. It has you have to be a teacher. That is the first prerequisite. It is not just for anybody on the street. It is tailored towards teachers' development. And if you are a teacher and you are in school, you have where you want to impart the knowledge gain, you are welcome. All we need is your details in form of your name, the school you are teaching, your an active email address. It has to be active because we are going to send you an activation link. That is very, very important for you to have an active email address. You need your location because after you finish your black belt course, there's a graduation that will come up in your location. So we need to, we need your location for that. Then we need your WhatsApp number, because through your WhatsApp number, we can do a follow up, a proper follow up for how you are progressing on your courses, your challenges, difficulties. Maybe you don't know how to, go about some things. There's mentorship. We give a one-on-one and mentorship support to any teacher that is interested and in our program or in the courses. So a teacher,
All
as far as
right.
you're a teacher, an educator, a school administrator, a librarian, a counselor that works around the school to impact others, to impact the children, to impact students, you are all welcome to 1 million teacher.
All right. All right. So,
Yes.
what if someone who is just going into teaching, someone who is looking into okay, I'm going to the university to go and study education and all of that. Is the person also qualified to be a part of this program?
Very well, very well,
Yeah.
All
very well.
right.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
All right. All
Yes.
right. So what will I need? Will I need a laptop, or what are the things I will need for me to be a part of this program?
Okay. Prince, do you want to take over from there, or I should?
Okay, well, let me take it from. What you need to undertake the 1 million teacher is just your smartphone and your laptop. That at least it should be have an internet connection. That is just
Connection.
the basic thing you need because it's an online based program, and the beauty of it is it's self-paced learning. Self-paced. That means you learn at your own pace. You don't have somebody breathing down your neck, somebody assessment that this is the time you must submit, no, you must do this. No, you don't have that. You're learning at your own pace. But one of the things we always say, learning at your own pace, some people take it for granted, but be conscious about it that, look, you want to develop yourself. And 1 million teacher having to give you that platform, take it and seize that opportunity. And I tell you, you will never regret that you did. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and I would like
So
to
thank
add
you
too that
very much.
the
All right.
learning is also a gamification learning, and it's rewarding and it's fun. it's fun. So when you, it's
All
a
right.
gamification and way of learning, so you enjoy it.
All right. So, in just a minute, each of you will tell us the impact that 1 million teachers has had on you as a person. Modupeola.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, I have a lot, and it has a lot impact that he has made on me. Presently in my school, I'm one of the teachers lead. If there's any facilitation on any topic, they tell me I take facilitation, teachers training, and all that. So it has given me an edge above, somehow above other teachers, because I am now seen as a leader in my school. That is one. Another thing is that it has made me to collaborate, network with even people I've not seen before. The benefit is so enormous that you can learn from and other educators that are not even in Nigeria because of that platform. Because of 1 million teacher, I've been able to meet a lot of international personnel, that normally if I'm in my shed, I will not be able to meet them. Then the third one is that it has helped my confidence. I've been able to build a confidence level that I can stand anywhere to talk about 1 million teacher. It has helped. It broke that barrier of fear in me. Then my nomination has changed. My understanding has changed about so many things. My classroom approach has changed. The way I teach my learners, it has really changed. It has helped me. It has helped my learning and teaching capacity. It has helped my students too to be able to be a better one for themselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Prince, tell us your experience.
Oh, well, well, let me try and summarize like my colleague said. 1 million teacher has really done a lot for me. It has really created a passion in me that one, I can be the best in whatever I set myself to do. And it has opened me up to look, master whatever you're doing and you will stand out. And it has helped me in a lot. Today, 1 million teachers, the passion it has awoken in me, I in my school, when it comes to tech related matters, I am called upon because it has given me so much exposure to learning different things on tech. Also, 1 million teacher helped me improve. It brought about a passion for writing in the sense that to God be the glory, I'm writing my books now, writing my book. And also, apart from that, the way I teach, the way I see learning, students learning, it has changed in the sense that I no longer see the old methodologies of teaching. I use up-to-date 21st century teaching methods. There is a lot it has done to me, but let me just say in a nutshell that it has really reshaped my life for the better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prince and Modupeola. Well, as for me, 1 million teachers has really, brought out the best in me. I came across 1 million teachers when, as I was a school owner, and I've been running my school for like 7 years. But I discovered that I wasn't fully achieved anything. I wasn't that happy, and I was trying to, to close it down. That was, it was towards the end of that period that I came across 1 million teachers. And after going through all the courses, I discovered why I wasn't so fulfilled and happy, just sitting down owning a school. Because I discovered through the courses that I'm not even a person that should sit down in one place. I'm a person that wants to teach others to achieve, impacts in their various classrooms. So 1 million teachers will bring out the best in you. It will bring out the giant lying down that has not been able to say, oh, this is who I am. So 1 million teachers program is a program like no other. You can't find it anywhere. It gives you opportunity to collaborate with teachers all over the world. you meet others, you are able to do things you weren't able to do before. You become a leader in the school where you're practicing and even in your environment. So 1 million teachers is a program that I've never, like other programs, you just have to take the program and leave. But 1 million teachers, once you are in, you are in,
Never
you
enough.
don't get out. You are in all the days of your life as a teacher. So 1 million teachers is a program. In fact, it's even more than a program. It's something more than a
Community
program
of
because
knowledge.
you remain there as long as you are living. So it's been wonderful talking to you both. Thank you very much for showing up on this program.
Thank you.
Abdulatif, over to you. Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like when it gets to the point of sharing experience, I have to feel like no, I can't be left behind because I'm also a 1 million teacher black belt, and when I went through the training, it was so transformative for me. Like I become a personal ambassador. I remember it was I'm currently in school, and then it was doing the what's it called? Doing this 8 month strike that we had in 2022. Like I came across the 1 million teacher training on Miss Joy Ifeanyi's Facebook timeline, and I was just like, "Ah, wow, I've been seeing all these things." Then there's Azuneta always like give some people the scholarship then like on board some people. So I applied, but then I got on board of the training. I started going through the training, but then it got to a point, I stopped. I stopped going through it. But the motivation was that we are only given 6 months that we have to finish it in 6 months. So from March up to like July or even August, I've not gone through maybe just bluebirds. So in less than a month, my 6 month deadline is going to be ending. So I have to like go through it. I have to go through it, and going through it, I really learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I did the graduation. So we graduated June last year, and I saw a lot of people. I saw a lot of people that inspired me. Like I was, I don't even know. You might even be in the graduation last year. So I saw like Miss Rashidat, and then I met Mr. Arinze. And one of the things I have to like discuss with him is okay. I mean, I saw that they introduced the program to students in MOCPED. No, it is now last year now. So the student there in the Progressive Education actually going through it, and I was like, so what is wrong with my own school? Because I'm in International University of Education. So why is TASU not getting the same opportunity? So I have to like reach out to him, talk to him about it, and I was like, okay, no problem. If I have anybody that's interested, that's just
On
oh,
board.
let them know that he's going to create like a Google form link so that whenever I have anybody, and that's how it all started. And because I also have I have community of teachers that I constantly train, like what we are currently having now. So I introduced it to them. I invited black belt like me. We talked to them. We encourage them, and fortunately, some of them actually got on boarded. Then this happened, they lost motivation, they are not going through it again. But then at least there's one thing I'm very sure of. We had one black belt. So at least there was a particular person, Mr. Andres, he finished all the course and is going to be graduated, I think this June too. He's going to be graduating this June. So but when we are planning this program, I was just thinking about it, I feel like okay, yeah, we're bringing for me, I've always believed so much in transforming educator. And the theme of this particular bootcamp is empower educator, transform education. And I believe that there's no other way to empower educator than exposing them to personal development and professional development. And I know that this is my own source. This is where I got my own from. So I know it's very important that I also have a session that's going to show them this, expose them to the 1 million teacher. So in fact, since yesterday that we had Coach Omolara here for our topic, it has been buzzing in the group. Okay, what is 1 million teacher about? So I think I say Mrs. Idioma is in my group, is in the group, so she's like just trying to uh she's just trying to get what's it called? She's just trying to like get the information I can tell them. So I have to like tell them later in the night, yeah. Don't worry, if you want to know about 1 million teacher, just wait till today. There's going to be a full panel session on it. And I'm really glad that we are able to have this. Thank you so much, Miss Modutola Onani, for showing up, even though were a lot delayed because of the network issue that we had. And thank you so much, Mr. Patrick. And like I don't know, but if there is one thing, one person I know on Facebook that Every single day, you must see something about 1 million teacher. Is Mr. Patrick. He posts it every single day. I don't know, and it's so good with. I think I don't know. Is it AI? Yes, I know it's AI. Like it will create all these amazing picture, people that are running, and just see 1 million teachers, and that alone is it's just amazing and it's inspiring a lot for me particularly. So thank you so much, and Kuchumola, thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much for everything you do. Without you, we not even be having this session at all. In fact, thank you so much. Thank you so
It's
much.
a
So thank you so
pleasure.
much for being part of this. Thank you so much. And the best thing I can tell you is now that you know what Home Minister is about, make sure you get it. So I've actually created a Google form. I'm going to drop it in the group so that anybody that is interested in being part of the training, just fill the Google form so that I can get their details from it and I can add them to the link that was sent that was given to me to the sheet that was given to me. So I'm just going to reach out to Mr. Arinze for the uploading.
Activation.
So please don't miss this for anything. Don't miss this for anything. And I would like to ask: is there really a deadline for it? Because then we're giving that deadline of 6 months, and it was a marathon. Though I know that you can finish it
Well,
before.
actually, if you don't give deadlines,
Yes,
people
Yeah.
tend to they
Take for
tend
granted.
to forget about it. They may not even go over it, over a long period of time. But if you give them a deadline, you could say 3 months, you could say 2 months. It makes them committed. But if you just say, oh, you just keep learning, you discover that people don't get committed to it.
thank you so much. So I think, and I was speaking with Mr. Patrick yesterday, and I mentioned to him that one of my goal is that I know a lot of people are going to be part of that, going to key into this. One of my goals is that one of the things I really hope to happen is for us to produce black belts that are going to be graduated this June.
More.
So I think I'm going to have people that will like just fire on. I've seen, I think it was Miss Joy that I was speaking to one day, and he said like she finished 1 million start training in just 1 month. And I think I saw Mr. Patrick posted one person too that finished in just 1 month or even less than 1 month, finished all the courses. So I think that's what
Yes, yes.
we're just going to do. Try to inspire them, motivate them so that they can do it, and then we have to make sure. Yeah, I thank God I see one person here. Miss Mr. Temiwe was part of those that were uploaded then. But then I'm glad she has decided to go back to learning. So please go back. Let's have you on board so that I can graduate this June. Okay. So thank
Yes,
you so much
there are going
again.
to be some graduation ceremonies this year in
Yes,
Yeah.
Lagos. There's going to
in
be
Lagos.
one in July, and I think we are also going to have one in Kwara. We are also going to have one. There are some states that are going to be having some graduation ceremonies this year. So if you are lucky, you may be part of them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm. Very well.
Exactly. Thanks so much, and those much, Kuchomalawa. Thank you for the opportunity to have you on here. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation. Thank you so much for
You're
staying
welcome.
to the end, even with all the delay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, ma. Thank you so much. Okay, let me just get this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can also click
All
on
right.
this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, just one.
Thank
You can
you.
also click on this link to learn more about what the one
Thank you
million
so
teacher is
much.
about. Yeah, thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So you can also click on this to learn more about what the 1 million teacher is about. 1 million www.1millionteacher.com. I'm going to learn about more about what the program is about. Okay, so thank you so much again. Thank you so much, Zanani. Thanks so much, Mr. Patrick, and thank you so much, everyone that is part of this. I really appreciate it. Today is the day 4 of the bootcamp, and guess what? The grand finale is going to be tomorrow. You can't afford to miss it. We're going to be having 5 powerful sessions as usual tomorrow. Don't miss it for anything. Make sure you are there. The link is going to be sent to the group. Make sure you're there. Thank you so much for staying to the end. And I'm going to see you in the group. And more important, I'm going to see you at the top because that's where I'm going to be. Thank you so much and have a great day ahead.